Thrones.
Hello, welcome to the Sport Gamer. I'm your host, Rob, and it's Monday night, and we're live in the Sport Gamer studio talking. I'm joined by two wonderful people. Mr. Nathan Prescott, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm grand, thank you. And you?
I'm good. I'm just going to make your microphone be turned up a tiny bit. James is going to do that for me, who's also here, Mr. James Powell from the Scribes of War. Nathan, just give us another hello.
1, 2, 3, testing. Hello, hello.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So well done. Getting you to do the microphone test. We should just do that every time. And we're also joined by Mr. James Powell. Hello.
Good evening.
Wolfpriest Carl wants to let you know, Nathan, that you're beautiful.
There you go.
Oh, that's my freshly plastered appearance.
Yeah. Although there seems to be an issue with your camera, which I'm going to sort out.
That's
James
why I'm beautiful. There's an issue with the camera.
James, how are you?
Yeah, good. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spent all weekend playing Warhammer.
And how did that go?
Yeah, good. Somehow won.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
a big trophy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nice one. Oh, big
Big,
blast.
big
Well, tell us about
big
that.
glass
Like,
mix.
also, before we go any further, I just want to say big shout out to everyone who's joined us on Twitch live this week, live this evening. Tomb King Tristan, Bucket Ninja, Rob at Extreme. He's so extreme.
There you go.
Jimmy 1080, big shout. Bling Marine has just subscribed, as has Mr. Tej and Dad Hammer CG. Oh, Capitan WS10 is here, who you played Warhammer against this weekend.
I did not play him, but he was in a team that we beat.
All right, perfect. Flukes a lot is back off the rig. Arepa's here. Propagation. Everyone. Alkanut's in the chat. We were talking in the Seraphon chat earlier. I can't wait to talk about the Seraphon, but with him, Aaron Wilson, AOS, and everyone in there. Say what up, everyone. Crazy Horse is here too, all the way
There you
from
go.
Nashville. Tennessee, maybe. And Mr. Tej, thanks for donating a bunch of bits, and the Saurus Knight for subscribing. Even though I guaranteed I'm not going to talk about the Saurus Knights tonight.
But they're so not pretty.
I'm just going to flat ignore them. So I'm like, oh, you can take. I don't care. All right. I'd like to say hello to everyone. I'd ask you both how you are. Nathan, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, been busy. So, rushing around. So I've not really had a chance to read much about the Seraphon. So it's going to be very informative for me too.
Okay. Can I just say a big shout out to Sir Flukes a lot, who's given a subscription to 10 people. And Nathan, what's the name for people who haven't subscribed to this Wargamer while they're watching it live? Do you remember what Jonathan Etland would call them?
Baggage. I don't
Shit
know.
guts.
Shit guts.
So thank you to Sir Flukes a lot, who's just made 10 people, including Neil Kerr. I see you, Neil. And I just called you a shit gut. I don't want you to know that. Nathan, what have you been up to today?
Plastering.
How's it been going?
Smoothly.
It's always useful.
Set it up, knock it down. Welcome to Mondays. James. James, how are you?
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been playing Warhammer this weekend, so
I
I'd like to
have.
hear about it.
Been playing some Warhammer. So we did the WS10 team event that Al Capitan WS10 hosted. It was his first all Trog based event.
Mm-hmm.
All his planning, all his work. So it was a team event, 4 players per team from all West Midlands clubs. It was really good.
That's very fun. Very fun. The most important prize, obviously, especially at a team event, is, I mean, there's a bunch of, someone probably won, but most importantly, someone
I
was the
won.
best sport. Well, you got, oh, wait, your team won.
Our team won.
Oh, okay, well done. And what was your team composition like? What was your strategy? Because obviously, I've been super focused on team events at the moment.
Yep.
We've got AOS Six Nations coming
Yep.
up, so that's an 8-man team event. Then they've got LGT, that's like 160 players of 4-man teams going to be the LGT. That's super important. So loads, I've been absorbing it, and I know that there's some real serious team strategy. What was your team strategy?
There wasn't any. There was none. We wrote 4 lists separately. We were like, oh, these are kind of fun. Then we took them to Sheffield. I was like, mine's like just the biggest brain melt I've ever played in Warhammer.
Your army.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep playing it till it gets better. So I'm taking that. James Boots took a gun line,
Yeah.
which was loads of shooting ogres, just all of them. 3
Okay.
cannons, terrible.
Not
but
one of
good.
not one of the better shooting gun lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fight better than they shoot.
Okay, good.
Wait until I hit you with my gun.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're so dead.
This is a gun line. I'm going to hit you with me gun.
Well, the best way to deal with a gun line is to get into close combat with it, right? And little do you know,
Yeah, that's the
what that
problem,
gun
right?
line wants.
all that gun line once. And then you're like, oh, you're bravery 6, right? No, you're with me. now I'm eating or not eating or now I've got more bravery. Whatever that rubbish is.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was that. Reese played Iron Jaws, which was why he takes Sheffield Slaughter, and then Miles had some weird list that he wanted to play because he said he played every game on a knife edge that had like 6 Storm Fiends in, Thanquol, and some Clan Rats.
Was it a knife edge game?
Yeah, he was like, everything was on like a knife edge. He was like, I either rolled and everything blew up, or I rolled and then I died. And that's how he played the weekend.
Strategy.
Cool.
Coup de Grace, thanks for joining us. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. I just saw Diogen has subscribed. Scrunty Hugh has possibly got the best converted Seraphon army in the world.
In the world.
That's some strong arguments there, but you can follow him on Twitter. You can also, by the way, you guys, Scrunty, you can link your Twitter in the chat. You all can link things in the chat, like your Twitter socials and stuff, if you want to all become friends, especially if you're all fellow blot-toed hailers, which I am. So the team event was great.
It was great.
Good. I'm very excited about El Capitan from WS10 because we know him as Trog. That's what he's known as.
Yep.
He wasn't playing Trogs this weekend.
He wasn't.
Which is
And by the
upsetting.
end of the weekend, he realised that that's why he didn't win anything.
Exactly. So Trog is actually coming over here tomorrow
Oh.
to do
cool.
a Battle Tome review, but only Troggoth keyword Battle Tome. So we're only talking Troggoth.
Four models.
No, the Troggoth Hag. 5 models.
5 models. Okay.
What more do you need?
You-
Nathan, how do you feel about that?
More than 5 models.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nathan's the Troggoth expert. Tell me how many models it is.
There's Dankhold Trog Boss and the Dankhold Trog, Rock Guts, Fell Waters, the Troll Hag, and Mollog.
Halfway through that, you
See that one coming.
How many people
halfway
have,
through that, you weren't sure. You were like, "Oh, fuck this one up."
No,
how many people have played Mollog?
don't know.
If you played Mollog, put it in
all
the chat.
people that play Underworlds, whatever.
Well, you got us, Nathan. I apologise for not knowing all of the Troggoth keyword units. Thank you to everyone who made our hype train level 4. We hit
Oh, there we
today,
go. That was
whatever-
fast.
Whatever that is. Brad Pitt Lord has just said, played a super casual doubles tournament, 8 players at my local yesterday with good circles, goal circles. Oh, talking about our new
Oh,
objectives.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
People
great.
love them. No negative comments at all. All the guys said it improved the game. It made it much faster. So yeah, James, you haven't seen on the show much, but you have seen him on the show before.
Yep.
James is our merch grot and responsible for all of the amazing merch. We had some amazing new T-shirts made.
Yeah?
Yeah, they look sweet. But them circles are great.
They are. Have you used them like in game? We played.
Well, yeah, we played with them. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great. Just
Yeah, they're nuts. And my favourite thing is, like, I played all weekend, so I used them all weekend. People kept going, these are great. These are great. Someone told me you can get them online. I was like, do I bother being like, oh yeah, it's me? And I was just like, oh yeah, there's the website. Fuck it. Let's not have that conversation where you asked me to deliver them to your house. So I just gave people links.
Yeah, good. Oh wait, are there also Warriors of Chaos Troggoths? Have they legended
yeah.
Chaos Troggoths?
the Chaos Troggoths. Oh, they are.
7.
Oh, there you go.
Mind blow. Par UK, who was at the WS10 event, and his team won most sporting,
Yes.
was at the event this weekend. He said it was ace.
He
as well.
won a sword that if... is he in the chat?
He is.
If that sword's not above your bed yet, Pa, I haven't had the photo, and I
It
expect to
might
see
be
it
in
soon.
his bed.
Well, that was the other debate. But he said he was going to hang it above his bed, and
His
I want
missus
to-
says no, it's going to go in the bed.
yeah.
Can I just
There
say
you go.
thank you to everyone for joining? Apparently, there's over 100 people watching now,
Oh,
which
there
is
you go.
sweet. So thanks for being here. And if there are some, the main subject of today's show is obviously going to be the Seraphon. There's been some new information today about the Lumineth
Listen,
Realm Lords. Strong. And I'd like to. So Nathan, I want to ask how you are, but before that, I'd like to tell you about something.
Good.
So I've been playing. I played a bit of 40k last week. Loved it. It was great. But you have a kind of approach to Age of Sigmar, which is slightly different to some other people's. A lot of people follow your approach. There are other people who follow more James's approach. Yours two's approach are a bit similar. Sometimes I get a bit too rulesy, and I know that you're like, oh god, like
Sporing.
Exactly. So I've decided I'm going to be the Nathan Prescott of 40k. So I'm
Okay.
only playing orcs. Yeah.
Cool,
And,
cool. Good choice, yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a new model out today.
Are you
called
excited about that new model?
Gazgul Thracker. I am horny as shit for him. He looks amazing. He's a mega boss now,
Yeah.
but he's the most biggest mega boss you've ever seen. And he's got
Sounds
loads of
sweet.
guns
Yeah, yeah.
and one big claw. How do you feel about it?
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah,
Where does he put his claw?
wherever he wants, I reckon.
Good.
It doesn't sound like he'd be able to pleasure himself well.
But Jason Nikos has agreed with you that it is Lizardmen, not
Cool.
Seraphon.
Thanks, Nikos.
But I want you to know, I'm now going to tell a whole bunch of the 40k community as I play 40k with them at tournaments with my huge, ridiculous orc army. I'll put it down and I go, I'm the Nathan Prescott of 40k, and they won't know what that means. And that's
good.
going to make me laugh loads. Right, okay. Nathan, what have you played in Warhammer this week? Anything?
Yeah, I played against you.
You did play against me.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was great. So there goes the 100% record against Zinch.
Did I take that
Yeah.
record off you as well?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. How was it?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, you had a good army there, I reckon. I was trying out the Gobblepalooza again. It's just too many rules for...
There was a lot. It did make me laugh every time you're like, Brugit knows his know what role, and I was like, sure.
So, yeah. No, but yeah, it's a good army. So I think it'd be interesting to play a few games against that. Try and...
Oh, my army.
Yeah.
Yeah,
unlock
so
it.
yeah, my experiences this week are yes, I also played what I believe to be so I actually asked you if we could play a specific scenario as well, like someone to play escalation, because I actually think Gits, I was talking to James a bit about it earlier, I think Gits are a really hard matchup for that list, because of the bodies. Like I know I went through that block in a turn, but I didn't go through anything else, so I had to, and I put everything into that unit, right? So I had to, I went through maybe 3 fell wars as well. But I actually think bodies are going to be the way that list can't survive.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I thought that was a hard matchup, and it turned out it was okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much dice. I don't think. I think it's just more the mechanics of how the army worked.
Yeah.
But I think probably there are some ways. I want you to. I said I wanted to lose. I will keep wanting to lose with that list because I think it's quite challenging to lose with it. So I want to see how I can lose.
Yeah. I had a few ideas. Like I said, in the spells list, I think it's quite good.
Yeah, I think that would have been really dangerous. Like anything, Comet would be really dangerous. And I also think, we talked about it a bit, didn't we? The Hallowheart. So I know everyone's like, what list are you talking about? It was just 15 Flamers, 3 Gaunt Summoners, and 3 lots of 9.
He'd take
Untamed
3 Gaunt
Beasts.
Summoners.
Huh?
Who'd take 3 Gaunt
You.
Summoners? Mine are Slaves to Darkness.
But it was, and it was in the
Fluffy.
Zinch, and I had the Fate Master
Fate
as well.
Master as well.
Yeah. So
giving
just
them rerolls and
giving them rerolls.
pluses to save against shooting or something as well, or something.
Or
minuses.
Minus is shooting because it was in Eternal Conflagration, and it's just dumb. It's a dumb army. It's -1 to hit in combat. It's -1 to hit shooting. It had Geminids, so you could be -2 to hit, which your Grots were at one point. But it's my go to a tournament and win tournaments army, and then I'm going to have a more fun paint army. James, you don't agree with that?
It's not as good as Marauders.
You played Marauders all weekend, right?
I'm on the hype train.
But is it still a hype train on Marauders?
Yeah, because after Sheffield Slaughter, it didn't do too well. By game 3, I think I'd learned maybe 50% of my rules. Then I realised that the Slaves to Darkness win rate is terrible. So I can very easily be at the top of the Slaves to Darkness win rate. No one's playing it.
Well, okay.
That's what I'm going
top
for.
of the pile.
Casual Slaves to Darkness gamer, top of the STDs.
There are some people playing it. If you go look at the stats this week, there's been some really interesting shifts on the match win percentages and also the meta percentages. Most notably, Skaven, natural enemies of lizard men in the world that was. They've dropped to like a 46% win rate. They are really tanking. Which I find quite interesting, but they're also half as popular, so interesting stuff. Have you played any other Warhammer 8th? Got any other plans?
No, I've been a bit busy otherwise. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I like Asteroid TV in the chat says, "All hail the bloat toad." Is it bloat or blot toad?
I haven't read the book.
Blot. There's no A in it.
There's no A.
Yeah,
it's
so
blot.
Yeah.
Someone tell us.
All right, so we're going to do the Battleton review now. You guys into that?
Yeah.
So lick any toads that you might have nearby. Stick your finger in a swamp and get ready to pray to the space demons. I think that's correct. The snot toad. Before we go any further, I'd quite like to talk about where the book was before we get into where it is now. So previously, because Nathan, you and me did a show maybe last year, because the last GHB, the Seraphon stats were super low. And they're not particularly high now, but they were super low, and we were having a conversation about what we thought could make it better. I said, or we said, that one of the things that the army really lacked, that it had no particular hammer. It didn't have a unit that could just destroy other units, really, apart from maybe Rippers dropping down, but then they died. So did you see that changing over the course of the past year, or did you
Well,
see...
I mean, the Pterodons became popular at the end there. They were
Yeah.
sort of a hammer, weren't they? They have loads of mortal wounds and then quite a lot of attacks with re-rolls in the Shadow Strike Star Host. And then we did see also, a few people played it, but we didn't see it very often, was spamming the command ability on the Saurus and then making them fly and teleport into people's back lines and then just exploding hits and deleting whole armies in a turn. So
whole armies,
Yeah.
especially with that command ability to make them fly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So going into where we are now with the game, because I think that's a really healthy way to look at it. As I see it, the army didn't have... They had a really poor summoning mechanic that you had to give up all your spellcasting to be able to summon. That's weird.
I don't know about poor though, because so I guess because James Hobbs plays it and he's a friend, the summoning mechanics has kept it in the game, I think. And then when we did Crimbobo with it, I maybe got a bit excited because I took that stupid Marauders list before they got the points changed, where I could get 140 and 2 heroes in and give them a 5-up Invulnshrug. And then he was just summoning guaranteed 20 skinks a turn, I think. And if the engine rolled well, 60 skinks a turn, because there was 2 of them. And I think the most interesting thing about having done 2 doubles events with the old book last year, and obviously not played them, but playing with them, I think the most interesting thing for me was that the summoning mechanic in...
You keep going. Don't worry, Nathan's here to fix it if we need help.
The summoning mechanic in Seraphon was as strong at 1,000 points as it was in 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not sure how many people ever collared that, but like having done a couple of events with it, when you're like, actually you've got the same units that get summoning points in 1,000 points to 2, when you bring on a guaranteed 20 unit, 2 10-man units a turn, it makes a big difference in 1,000 points.
Yeah, well, so Alkanaut in the chat is saying, honestly, Croak Magic Summon list was top tier, he reckons, just totally underplayed or unknown. Went 10-0 in 2 team tournaments at top French level, facing only hard Fireslayer, Osiarch, and Halahart. Just our expert Nathan Prescott is just checking on our half a roof. It was just... Nathan, how's it looking? He's making weird noises. We won't lie. We have points.
It's all right. Are we coalesced or are we the other thing?
Yeah, we're fine.
you might need a bucket.
We're going to need a fucking new office in a bit. Anyway, so I don't know if anyone in the chat, what your guys' thoughts were in the chat on what the army was lacking, but I think it had a poor summoning mechanic that needed to be fixed. I just thought we'd do that before we go into the book, right? Poor summoning mechanic needed to be fixed. Didn't really have a hammer unit that I think that was the thing. Had some huge bonuses in the skinks. That was great. It also had the ability to do 1-drops, which was super rare and has got rarer and rarer over time. So whether or not they maintain that and quick fire, they do not maintain that, so they've lost that ability straight away.
The loss of 2 guaranteed teleports is pretty big too, I think. The fact that you could teleport a unit, cast knowledge spells and teleport back out.
Yes also really, that was really, really good as well. And then those are the mechanics. Standout units previously were skinks, the slan, and I would have argued Razordons, and a lot of people would have said Pterodons. Pterodon build actually coming all the way over from Poland. So a lot of people like in the UK over the past 6 months have been using it, but actually me and LLV covered it on the stat show like a year and a half ago. So it was the one Seraphon army that ended up taking out an event. It's genuinely a very upsetting noise that's happening up there.
Engine of the Gods was pretty decent.
Yeah, right. Let's get on with this.
Well, I mean, and there was like I said, that Saurus build, which we didn't see very often, but it did when it
was
worked. Yeah.
Proper math hammer, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was proper, just stacking the buffs and then teleporting them in. So.
All right, so let's get into it. I've got some top line bits of information for you, like some TLDRs, very quick if you can't be asked to watch the rest of the show, and that is genuinely frustrating. I also think the internet's broken as well, so just having a real fun day today.
Is there anybody up there? Because it sounds like the roof is leaking into their bathroom.
It could be. I don't know. It's a great question.
Are we on live still?
We are live,
Okay,
still.
cool.
But it might not be working. Yeah, the stream has issues now. Okay, right. Should we talk about? We could watch that or talk about it for the rest of the thing. Okay, so first thing to talk about is the terrain piece, right? That is the Realm Shaper engine. Have you seen the rules for this, you guys?
I saw that you have to garrison it, and all I could think about was when Nick Thompson garrisoned a building on you.
Tried to garrison a building on me. What the hell? So the Realm Shaper engine can be garrisoned. The model making the garrison of a Realm Shaper engine must have combined wounds characteristic of 20 or less. And then models in the unit from the garrison Realm Shaper. So this would preclude all of the models from a unit from garrison the Realm Shaper engine. Then the unit cannot garrison the Realm Shaper engine. Yeah. So if you have 20 or more models, you can't.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not that big a
20
temple.
wounds or models.
Wounds.
Okay.
20 wounds.
So 40 stories could garrison it, or not, because then they'd have too many wounds.
They have too many wounds.
Okay.
And then you've got scenery rules. The power unleash in your hero phase. If this model is garrisoned by a friendly Seraphon wizard or a Seraphon priest, you can pick one terrain feature anywhere on the battlefield and roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of that terrain feature. Add 2 to the roll for that terrain feature is within 18 inches of this model, and subtract 2 from the roll if that terrain feature is more than 36 inches from this model. On a 4+, that enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Wow, that's strong, isn't it?
That's very strong. So it's like a Knight Heralder, but way better. It's also a really big base. It's a way to hide unit. So garrison will gain you cover,
Yep.
and it'll also make you -1 to hit in close combat. So that's obviously fantastic.
And you just hide the slam behind it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also a great line of sight blocking piece of terrain as well.
Yeah.
So utility-wise, it's fantastic, and also it's free. So it's like you're going to get to potentially blow stuff up around a piece of terrain, which is great. It's particularly good against grots, because you almost see, Nathan, I'm sure you'll be able to testify to this, the grot army almost always...
What's the range of the... Sorry, the piece of terrain that...
so it is...
from the piece of terrain
wide.
that they collect... No, I mean the one that they target.
Yeah, it's board wide.
Yeah, board wide.
But what's the range from that? Units within how
Oh, within
far?
3 inches.
Within 3.
Within 3 inches.
Yeah, that's really
Of that terrain feature. Add 2 to the roll if that terrain feature is within 18 inches of this model, and subtract 2 from the roll if that terrain feature is more than 36 inches.
So it'd be 6 up if it's the other side of the board, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And Malez is saying in the chat, and obviously you have to put a wizard inside of it as well. Malez is saying from the chat, you have to deploy it before terrain, though. So it's just somewhere on the board, and you might not even get it in your deployment. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting, but I quite like that. I actually think there's a really fun metagame there. Like you put it down, like
Put it in
and
the
then,
middle.
and then and then your opponent has to be like, this side's better, but that side I can stop you using your terrain feature. But also that terrain feature is quite big.
So it's deployed before all terrain.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun for events. When they're like, "Oh, we put the terrain down. Great, now we'll remove it."
So is it roll off between that and that OBR thing then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like now, because like you said, the OBR terrain feature, which is the latest one, Tzeentch didn't have one.
Nope. Slaves didn't have one.
Slave Darkness didn't have one. So last time, so maybe we're seeing a new rules change on, where you can put it. Yeah.
If that gets put in my half, I'm just garrisoning it. I don't care what goes in. Just going to be an arse. Just going to garrison it.
Okay.
Every game.
So that's the scenery piece. I think it's quite cool, right? But you can only use the power to destroy things if you're...
Yeah, but it'd be funny because they can't
a
garrison
skink,
it.
a priest or a wizard.
I also think it looks great, right? So now we're going to start talking about the units. We'll do all the war scrolls first, then we'll do the allegiance abilities, which I know sounds a bit odd. But there's some really nice... a lot like some of the other books, there's a lot of intricacies that connect with each other inside the war scrolls, and then we could talk about how we can add stuff onto them and come back to some of the units, right? So I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So we'll talk about those first. So we'll just get straight in, and we'll talk about my favourite man in the world, Mr. Lord Croak. I'll try and make it so you can see a bit. Can you see? Ish.
Yeah.
So Croaky, he's got 7 wounds with a 4-up save. He's got a cool ability, so his Azerite Force Barrier, it's 3-inch range, 3s, Ren 1/1 damage, but it's basically everything within 3 inches. He makes an attack roll for. So he's great against hordes. Now, when we get to it, you can stick him with some Temple Guard who can take damage for him, basically make him immortal, and just have him plow into the middle of hordes. I think probably before we go any further, a good thing we would talk about is what we think the pervasive threats are in Age of Sigmar at the minute. Like it's great that goes into hordes, and we talked about this during Plague Monks, or talked about this during Daughters of Cain, who are still doing really well.
Yep.
Then you'd be like, fair enough. But some of the hordes that we're seeing at the moment are there loads of hordes? Like Ardboys aren't hordes. You don't get a real big bonus out of that. Gits don't do particularly well when they end up podiuming. Eels more elite. Tzeentch is kind of a bit weird. It's kind of a horde. It's kind of not a horde.
I think I was the only person I can think that played a horde at that whole event all weekend.
So I think it's a great ability. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think it's great, and I've loved it all the way from the days of Scar Bloodwrath. It's just, is it really applicable? There's a lot of shooting. There's a lot of range damage in the game at the moment, or there will be a lot of range damage when people actually build it right. So that's it's a great ability though.
Yeah.
Not knocking it.
It's quite good against horrors, isn't it? If you can plink away some of the pinks so that now there's loads of blues, and then send him in, then he'll do some damage.
Yeah, if you do the right activations, like activate the Saurus Guard first, then activate with him, that's really good. Oh, and also, obviously, Mortek Guard. Thank you, Speckles. Love you loads. Miss you tons. What Spider, thanks for subscribing. So, yeah, against Mortek Guard, decent. But it's only got Ren 1, so you're going to have a 4-up rerollable save.
They're not dying.
No, don't worry. When we get to it, they're definitely going to die.
Okay.
Yeah? Mortal wounds.
They're going to mortal wound to death. You okay with the roof now, Stop making the noise. In builder terms, can I ask you a quick question? When there was a noise and now there isn't a noise, is everything okay?
No.
What's the chances of us dying?
Hi. 100%. We're all dying.
Yeah, that's true. Like in the immediate time due to the roof.
Very slim.
Very slim, but
That'll
not impossible.
We'll live on very slim.
Yeah, that'll be fine. All right, so he's Arcane Vassal. He can fly, Lord Croak. He's got 7 wounds and 4-up save. Big change is obviously he's now not based on his bravery. He's actually now just got 7 wounds and 4-up save. He's also got a 4+ DPR when we get around to it as well.
Okay.
So he's pretty survivable. So that effectively
That's
gives him 14 wounds. Arcane Vassal, when this model, so the Slan has this as well, when this model attempts to cast a spell before making the casting roll, you can pick one friendly skink wizard that is within 12 inches, or one friendly oracle, which would be a skink on top of a Troglodon, anywhere on the battlefield. If you do so, and the spell is successfully cast and not unbound, you must measure the range and visibility from the spell from the skink wizard or oracle.
They used to do that anyway, right?
Yeah, I used to do this in 8th edition. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And genuinely, like, that's the Troglodon's USP. When we get through to it, I personally think the Troglodon's like rubbish. Like,
no, but
he's not as rubbish as he was, but it's still rubbish. But you could do that if you saw a reason to do that, I guess. Which is, and it's a cool ability, I think. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, well, it's almost like a free. Well, you've paid for it, but it's a bit like Mirror, isn't it? But
yeah, Blazonix, thanks for subscribing, by the way. Woohoo! For 19 months. And then you've got Azerite Force Barrier. We've talked about that already. Then you've got Dead for Innumerable Ages, which is his 4+ DPR. So that means obviously you've got an after damage save. He's got Impeccable Foresight, which is wicked. So you're going to see this going through all of the Seraphon. Command points for days. You can comfortably start with like 8 or 9 command points and generate them every turn, which is good because this army is going to be fairly command point heavy. Because it's just got a lot of like, you're probably going to want to do that command ability, and this command ability, and then just send off a unit of something to go do something pretty scary, which is fun.
Yep.
And it's also nice against Catagros. Helgmar, thanks for subscribing, by the way, because if you played against Catagros when you nix your CP, you just like, fuck off.
I only know one person that plays him, I think.
But he'd probably be the most pretty man in all of Derby.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not hard. And
pretty in Derby.
if he's in chat, maybe he'll tell everyone in the chat about the little game we're playing.
Oh, you and Speckles?
Yeah.
What's the game?
Oh, well, maybe he'll tell people, but he magnetised all the little people around Catacross. And I think there's a good game there where instead of playing Save the Queen with a 2p, you play it with one of Speckles' models.
Can someone explain what save the queen
sorry.
is?
So save the queen's when you get a 2p, you put it in someone's pint and they have to down it to save the queen from drowning.
Right.
And I keep telling Speckles I'm going to do that with the models.
Put his models
Yeah.
in a pint and drink it.
And I've never seen a man react so fast. So I kept threatening it at Sheffield Slaughter. And then this weekend, I don't think he knew if I'd had a drink. And I went over, was talking to Miles because he was playing him, leant over, and he grabbed my wrist faster than I've ever seen him move and like pushed me away. I was like, stay away from my models. I was like, I'm just going to push it into a bottle. He's probably in there crying now that I've talked about it on there.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
He's gone.
He also says fuck off. So potentially, you're going to get 1.5 command points a turn. I know that's not possible. So on average, you're going to get 1 or 2 command points, but you could get 3. So that's just having him there. Great start. Cool. That includes the +1 you'll get for your turn.
So he just generates D3.
No, roll 3 dice. Every
okay.
4+, you'll get a command point. So 1.5. Add to then you've got Massive Order. So again, the Slan's got this, so we won't have to cover it again. Add 1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for this model. In addition, this model can attempt to unbind enemy spells that are cast anywhere on the battlefield, and attempt to dispel enemy spells anywhere on the battlefield.
It was about time they got a +1.
100%. Well, so when we get to it, it's super simple with the Allegiance ability and Astral Oath banner to just be sat on +3.
Cool.
Yeah,
but it was time. Because they're supposed to be like the best wizards in the world.
Yeah, well, perfect. So Lord Croak is a 4-cast wizard.
Yep.
Yeah, which is wicked. He knows 4 spells. He knows Arcane Bolt, Mystic Shield, Celestial Deliverance, and Comet's Call. Also, their ability to unbind anywhere on the battlefield is massive. Because I'm looking specifically at that dickhead Hallowheart wizard who wants to cast fucking Bridge. Yeah. Now, to be fair, he does have like D6 plus to cast as well, but you might stop him potentially if it goes well, right?
Yeah, if his
if
D6
you're
is 1.
+3 or 4, like you say.
Yeah.
I'd take a guaranteed +3 over a D6 any day.
So I'm not sure about the +3 to unbinding, but
Okay.
I'll double check that as we go through. So 4-cast wizard. So he's got 2 spells, Lord Croak, his own spells. He's got which over time has triggered many a folk. The Croak-nado, Croak-bomb, whatever you want to call it. But Celestial Deliverance has been changed, and it's very much like it was before. You can cast it 3 times. One of the only spells you can cast more than once. It's cast on a 7. Second time you cast it an 8. Third time you cast it a 9. Each time this spell is successfully cast, pick 3 different enemy units within 10 inches. So not all units, so way worse. And roll 1 dice for each on a 2+. So again, another little proviso. You do D3 mortal wounds. If the unit is a Chaos Demon unit, on a 2+, it just suffers a flat 3 mortal wounds. So,
Pretty good.
Good point, Dreadwoods. The Lord Croak is still a better caster than Alarielle. How do you feel about that? Not bothered?
It's cool. He's mummified. She's all right looking. She'll be all right.
She's got looks going for her.
She's got looks going for her.
To be fair, yeah, they're good. All right.
She's fine. Also, she's got a big beetle. That's pretty.
It is.
It's fine.
He's also got Comet's Call, casting value of 7 if successfully cast. Now, this is also found on the Slan, and it's also found on the Troglodon. Yeah. Now, I would actually argue that this is one of the strongest abilities that you're gonna want to put this into your army. Thank you, Urta. So the +1 to cast is Constellation. So you do get the +1 to cast to unbind and also dispel. So you can have that +3 across, which is good. I think you're going to want this spell because Castle 7 is board wide, D3 units suffer D3 mortal wounds. Basically, if it's cast on a 10+, so those pluses to cast are going to stack, making it D6 units. They're going to take D3 mortal wounds. Now against OBR, where they just heal up 3 wounds, or that Arc Regent who's just going to heal up 3 wounds. Not you see tons of him around, but I would say that plus a cheeky Geminids, Nath, I'm sure, you and me play that game, right? Doing a couple of mortal wounds in, and I think just being able to just sit a wizard at the back of the board, does nothing else but take out your support characters, is amazing. Yeah. So that's like a standout ability. If you don't have that in your army, you'd have to really justify it to me as to why you wouldn't have it.
Well, I mean, you could even align the Prime and just make sure that
and what else?
And also that Comet.
Perfect. Yeah. That's
just 2 Comets and a Prime, and then a lot of characters are going to be dead.
Yeah.
Very early. Yeah, it's huge. That's what I would go for, probably the Incantor and the Comet. or you could do. I don't know how much that goes to Incanto Prime.
Too much.
Yeah,
360
is for the
120, 100.
Yeah. So that's obviously, but yeah, I'd be doing that straight off the bat. I'd just be doing Comet and
Incanto.
the Incanto Comet, and I'd just be doing that, and that would just suck. He's like 10 characters everywhere. So we just had a question: is that the Scribes of War winning team member right there?
It is.
Okay, that's from
That's-
Mr. Chucklebutty.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and he says, "I love sports votes, and what a team to come second to." Did he come second?
He did.
His team, Chucklebutties.
Yeah.
Wow! They must have sore backs from carrying Adam. for the
He was
entire
playing
weekend.
2015 Stormcast Eternals.
Actually, Stormcast Eternals won an event this weekend, Nathan. Do you want to quickly tell me why that's important?
Because they're really good.
You told me they're coming back.
Yeah, I reckon I think the changes in the meta, I think they're alright against OBR and Zinch. I know there's a few people that disagree, but yeah, I think just about everybody. But
Sure. It's all right. They'll give him a new book in a few weeks.
no, I reckon they're not too. I think they're a bit better now.
Agreed. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, well, so you heard it there first. That's Nate's pick. So in the command ability, you got Gift from the Heavens. Uses command ability in your hero phase. Pick a friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 18. There's a lot of wholly within it in this book. Until your next hero phase, that unit can fly, and you can add 1 to save rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target that unit. You can only use this command ability once per hero phase, so a bit of clearing up there, which is nice. Now that +1 to hit. Now there are easily ways to get plus that, including that +1, another +2 to a save. So you could have a standard +2, and then you could have that, so you could have +3 against shooting saves.
And it makes the Dreadsaurian playable. Because
Yeah.
you can't play it without flying.
No, or anything, because it just doesn't move anywhere. Right?
Yeah. It's on a dinner plate.
Making things fly is just so good.
It's just super good. I just need to double get the points. So and also Croak is really cheap. I think he's 320 points.
What?
Yeah, 320.
Wow. That is cheap.
That's cheap and good. So he's great. And it would be very hard to not put him in. He's a bit like a bit of a Scragrot now. You're like,
He's a bit more than a Scragrot, I would say.
he's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So he's great. So a slant,
320. Wow.
320.
How many points is Skagrot?
220? 240?
220 actually. Yeah. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
320.
I mean, he's not that much more than a Sorcerer Lord on Manticore, and he does a lot more.
He does a lot more. He's really, really, really good. So yeah, he definitely needs. He's great. So let's take more of those. Next up,
Can you only take one still? Is he unique?
yeah, he's unique.
Okay.
Yes, but you can also take a Slan.
Yeah.
So you've got a Slan. They've got Arcane Vassal. Obviously, same thing.
Yep.
They've got Foresight, which is a bit like the other one, but they only roll 2 dice,
Okay.
and on a 4+ they get 1 command point.
Okay, that's good.
They're not as old.
They're not as old, so they're not the first generation. They've also got Masters of Order, so that's that +1 to cast.
Yep.
It's a 3 cast wizard. It's got that Comet spell, which
Yep.
we talked about before. And it's also got Gift from the Heavens command ability, which is the same command ability as well. Add on to the save rolls. So, but the Slan is 260 points. So it's 80 points more for another level to cast on top of it. And you also get the ability to generate potentially another command point.
So he's a 3 caster, the Slan.
He's a 3 cast, and Croak
okay.
is a 2 cast.
As 4 cast, yeah.
A 4 cast, yeah. So really,
Wow.
yeah.
And does he have a DPR? No.
No, he also
Slan.
doesn't have a
No.
DPR. So yeah, like I mean, that literally doubles his wounds characteristic. So like, how can I say in the chat? There is no reason to take a normal Slan over Croak if you can.
Unless you were taking multiples, I guess.
Yeah, if you wanted more of that, right? Like,
7 slants.
yeah, why didn't they give us that battalion? That's what we all wanted. But
Just slants, nothing else.
Did it become battle line? Yes.
Yeah. Slants become battle line if Croak is your general. Cool.
made a bit of a mistake here. Sorry, everyone.
Oh,
Just get
Oh,
it a bit
it's
bigger.
growing. It's growing.
So I'm trying to do this in order where I think that they all kind of like sync and make sense.
Okay.
So the next one is the Saurus Astroloth Banner Bearer. So a Saurus. We won't be talking very positively about the Saurus
Okay.
later, but right now
This one's good. He's always been good.
he's always been good, and he still is good.
Can I just throw in a really unrelated note?
Yeah,
Don't really play 40k. Have no interest in 40k.
yeah,
That Sisters of Battle Banner Bearer. That's amazing.
beautiful,
Amazing.
really pretty, but not as pretty as Gazgul Thraka. How dare you?
That banner's amazing. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Carry on. Let's go.
Banner bearers are generally cool anyway, right?
Yeah, but that one's incredible.
Yeah, but imagine you just go to war. Like, what's your weapon? It's like, I've got a gun, I've got a sword, I've got a chopper. What's yours? Flag.
But it's not even a flag. It's like she's carrying a whole statue, and she's got such a good hood she can't even see. I was just like, I love it. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. Let's go.
So loads of people are talking about a reason to take a stand would be for a command trait and obviously an artifact.
Yep.
Those are reasons. We'll get to those in a bit. Yes, absolutely. But for 80 points, can you justify? I mean, it doesn't have to be a general croak. You might go multiple.
Yep.
It all depends what you want to do, right? So the Astaroth Banner Bearer, the reason he's here is because he adds 1 to casting rolls for Seraphon Wizards while they're within 12 inches of any model.
Yep, this is the same, I think.
Yeah. In addition, adds 6 inches to the range of any spells cast by Seraphon Wizards while they're within 12 inches of models with this ability.
Cool, still the same.
Still the same. So plus 6 inches, plus 1 to cast. Why you wouldn't take it is 140 points of pure win. He's got 4 wounds. 6 wounds and 4 up save. He's not particularly fast, but he's going to be stood next to a
And he
toad.
also generates points towards summoning as well.
He
doesn't
does in a particular, like, we'll get to that in a bit. The book is split in 2, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And if he's in one of...
Your real or your dreams.
Yeah, if you're in a dream version, then yes, he's going in your
dream.
army. Yeah. And then he's got Rectifying Energies, which is roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to a friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 12. On a 6, that wound or mortal wound is ignored. So he also gives a 6+ DPR.
So if you had him with Croak, he'd be a whatever save, 4 plus 6 plus.
Yeah, 4 plus DPR, 6+ DPR. Yeah.
Does he doesn't reroll hits and wounds?
What's the maths?
Hits.
Because what do you do first? Like, what's a better way to roll it? Is it you roll the 4s then the 6s, or the 6s then the 4s?
No, I think you have to do it in the order, don't you? So you'd have to...
Is that-
I don't know.
Is there a priority on DPRs?
No.
Doesn't it make more sense to roll the most dice to try and fish out 6s? And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
or
yeah.
does the maths work the same?
It's the same.
Is it the same?
That's just chance, isn't it?
It's also true. It'll also just work out. In the good one, Nate. Yeah, agreed. So anyway,
I think I'd roll it the other way around because it'd annoy me at the end if I rolled 4s. If I rolled a load of 4s and I needed 6s. So I'd be like, I'll do 4s, then 6s, then 4s. Just to help my own brain not cry when I roll nothing.
Sure.
50-50, you get it or you don't. Thanks, propagation. I agree. Right, so Astaroth Banner Bearer.
Think it's 1 in 6, but okay.
But he's a good dude, right?
Yeah.
140 points, plus 1 to cast, 6+ DPR, 6 inches to your range as well.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, exactly. If you were focusing on magic, then I think he's in there, and I don't know why he wouldn't. Right, now we're going to get into... this is where we have to talk about it. It's where Trog in the chat gets a little bit upset, and Nathan becomes super happy.
Okay.
Obviously, me and Nathan sometimes, well, mainly me on the show, I can be a bit of an arsehole. Like, I don't mean to be. I like to tell the truth and what I think my opinion is. Nathan sometimes disagrees. Sometimes he's an arsehole. Who knows? Maybe
All the
we
time.
all are.
I'm an arsehole all the time.
All the time. But my point is I think because of that, Games Workshop always negatively chooses the things that I love. And ever since I was young, I've always picked big lads in games.
Yep.
I've always just been like, I just want a big lad. You know, like big muscly fella, does some punching. Whereas Nathan's always gone, little tiny dwarf, little tiny git. Just little tiny fellas all the time. It's all he likes, little tiny fellas. And Games Workshop, it seems, do exactly the same thing. They're like, they've just sided with Nathan over me. So I would describe this as Battletome skinks. Because now we're getting into, you think the slam was good, these motherfuckers are amazing. These aren't just fucking good. They're unbelievable. So the skink keyword is on everything. The skink keyword is obviously on all the skinks. So all the skink characters, all the skinks. It's also on the Troglodon.
Yep.
It's also on the Stegodons of any sort. It's also on the Bastillodon. It's also on the Crocs. Not on the Croxigore. The Croxigore, by the way, are the poor bastard child. It's like, oh, so you're a Croxigore. Fuck off into the wild. They're like, your ugly kid who you just don't let stay at the house.
These are great models too, and they've been rubbish for 5 years.
Yeah, we'll ignore the fact that Nath obviously loves orcs as well, which are big lads. But everything is good. Bastillodons, they've got the skink keyword, so just everything.
So they've not done like they did with the Gits then, where like nothing got the grot keyword then.
No,
They just gave it to everything.
super weird.
Everyone got skink.
Yeah.
No,
Not
apart
even-
from Croxigore
Yeah.
and obviously the Saurus.
Yeah.
And all the Saurus are there like, I really wish I had the skink keyword.
I really wish I was a skink.
What if I eat less?
I slim down.
Which, like, when we get into it at the end, like, I just want, like, just off the bat, Twitch chat and you guys, how do you feel about that? Like, would you want Do you want obviously you want both to be good. It's a bit like the Gits book, right? I want the Squigs to be good, the Gits, the Trogs. I want the Spiders. Obviously the Spiders are like the poor bastard children of that book.
Well, they're so bad.
I mean, one big one's good. Yeah.
Unquestionably, because you've got to take the crap ones with it.
Yeah, well, but my point is like, I suppose if you had to choose, do you want the Saurus to be great or do you want the Skinks to be great? Twitch chat and you guys.
Skinks.
Skinks, Dave?
Yeah, skinks.
They're just so funny.
Wargaming Dad makes a good point. They both have their own strengths. And I will also agree that you can do some really cool things with the Saurus, but it's really the powerhouse, in my opinion, comes from the Skinks. So, Skink starts here. He's got some attacks in combat, but no one cares. So, he's got some cool abilities, right? So the starting hero phase, roll a dice on a 4+ receive a command point.
Oh, you've got shooting attack.
He has 2 attacks, 3 threes, round 1d3 damage.
Oh, hero.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Quite a good shooter.
Yeah. Why does
18
the puny
inches?
skink have so much Ren, says Mostin Power. Agreed. Why does he? It's because it's an astral bolt. It's a star that he sends from space.
There you go.
Even his stick has got range.
Yeah.
Okay, now that...
Really sharp. He's sat in a chair. He's not using his legs.
How do you
He's
think-
sharpening his
How do you
stick.
think cavemen made it? They're just sharpening their sticks, right?
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, when you look at some War Scrolls, though, and you're like, oh, Chaos Warriors, the chosen warriors of chaos. Shit. This skink's better in combat.
Well, so a Chaos Warrior,
Yeah.
not all of their weapons have rend.
No.
No. This skink...
His pointy stick. He's probably cheaper, too.
I bet you could slay kings with that stick. I agree, Hobby Heresy. I agree. So then you got the Astromancer's anyway, so he could get a command point on 4+.
Yeah.
Wicked. He's got the Astromancer's staff. Now pick. This is amazing. At the start of your hero phase, your charge phase, you can pick one friendly. Now he's not very fast. He moves 5 inches, but pick one friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 12 inches of this model. If you do so in that phase, you can attempt to charge with that unit if it's within 18 inches. Instead of 12, and you can roll 3d6 instead of 2d6.
You just pick it. You don't.
You just pick it. Get ready for all the things that you just picked, Nate. You're going to be triggered as fuck. When
What is that a command point?
No, it's not even a command point.
No.
It's free.
Just
And
do it.
It's even better.
Tell me how good it is, Nate.
That's bent like a banana.
It's
That's
even better.
Mad.
Even better when you think, oh, can free teleport him just before.
Just before, in the charge phase.
Was it worth it? Yes.
But imagine if you'd made a unit fly before you did it.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That'd be
wouldn't it?
nice.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Nathan, we're not finished yet, mate. Right, hold on. So, magic. This model is a wizard. It can attempt to cast one spell on your hero phase.
Doesn't
Great.
need to be a wizard. It's already done the magic.
So it can do a spell which is cast on a 7, pick a unit within 18 inches of the caster, and you add +1 save to it. +1 to its save.
Oh, so it's
What,
Mystic
it's
Shield.
not Old Mystic Shield.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's not fair. But you can actually choose an enemy unit and reduce their save by 1 if it's within 18 inches. Don't forget, if it's Astroloth Banner Bearer, it's going to be 24 inches.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be wholly within. Just choose -1 save. Nathan, in the Gits book, is there a -1 to save
Yeah.
spell? What range is it?
12. And I think the other one is
What does it cast up?
8 as well. I think there's one is 12 and one is 8 or something.
Well, this is 18 or 24, so you can reduce someone's rend, which is good. All right. I'd say that there's an issue with rend in the book, but there isn't,
No.
because you've just got mortal wounds.
I mean, he could make his own Ren. He'd be a Ren 2 little skinky fella.
He would be a little skinky fellow.
I mean, he saves rubbish, and he's also not very brave anymore. But it doesn't matter because there's one of him.
They thought you're looking for you on your phone. There's no help there, mate. Right, so he's got that, but he can only cast one spell. Hashtag sad face. Yeah. Effectively, Papa Peen. I can never remember to say hi in Kiwi.
Don't do it.
No, I remember it. He says it to me sometimes. Anyway, nice to see you, is what I'm saying. Right, next up, the next skink. Oh, by the way, the skink star's here. Yeah, points-wise, because I know both of you two are a little worried about it.
Yeah. How many points he must be?
So he is expensive. Yeah, he's 140 points.
Okay.
Fuck off, that's expensive. You're a dickhead.
Look at you, you're like, oh, that's fine. But it's not fine. It's not fine. +1 save. So imagine you take 40 Saurus, which,
Yeah.
by the way, 40 Saurus are 320 points.
I haven't seen that model in a while, though. It'd be nice to see him.
I love that model. Teto
Yeah.
Echo.
Great to see him.
It's fantastic.
Do you know what?
Yeah. Kiowa, thank you.
Do you know what I reckon? How many people are watching?
I don't know. Loads of people. Hello,
Okay.
everyone. Love you loads.
So loads of people are watching.
Yeah, Kiora.
I give it 10 minutes till that's sold out on the Games Workshop
Good
website.
luck. I actually bought 40 and I'll be selling them for twice the price.
And eBay is flooded.
Now, Nath, this guy, I'm about to show you next, is a Skink Star Priest.
Oh, yeah, this guy was great before.
He is still great. So, start your hero phase, roll a dice on this model. On a 5+, receive a command point. More command points.
Yep. He was this. Did he give command points
Serpent
before?
Staff. Nathan,
No.
this is something
The Serpent Star was great before.
This is even better. In your hero phase, you can pick one friendly Seraphon unit, so a Seraphon unit,
Yeah.
wholly within 12 inches of this model. If you do so until your next hero phase, the unmodified wound roll for an attack made by this unit is a 6. It causes a mortal wound. The unit cannot benefit from this ability more than once. So, great ability. You just pick it. You can't stop your opponent from doing it.
Do it in the hero phase.
In your hero phase, pick one friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 12.
It's not a command point even. It's
No,
just
it's
another free one of the fucking bastards.
He buying a Seraphon army.
It's a lot of skinks to paint.
No.
That's all right. You just
Nathan's like, no.
Bastards.
Hold
Just
on,
wash
hold on.
him.
So a free ability to just be like mortal wounds on 6s.
Yep.
So what do we want to do?
That's the same ability that... Oh, never mind. Bastards.
Yeah. So it doesn't cost a command point. Oh, but we now also this guy's got a stick that's also got rend 1.
Oh,
Have we all
good.
seen that?
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nath, what kind of like? I know you guys know, but other people at home might know. What sort of unit are you going to want to put this ability on?
Something with loads of attacks.
Nailed it.
The
Put a pin in that for later, gents
so
and ladies.
it's melee attacks only.
I know. Doesn't say.
Also, I'd just like to point out, because I think this is quite fun, the last one threw an astral
Plain
bolt,
old Gavin, thanks for subscribing. Go
but
on.
he throws a venom bolt.
What?
Like who?
He's also got a shooting attack.
Yeah.
Fuck
But it's a
that guy.
venom bolt, not a shooting,
Yeah.
not an astral. Like
Well,
who
that's 'cause
bothers?
he's got a serpent stick.
Just call them all bolts. Be done with it.
Yeah.
Make your life easier.
Oh, my camera's just broken, which is better for everyone, really, because I don't know what's going on today with the.
Just leave a still of
The
your face there.
technology.
That's better.
Or just put this skink there because he's good.
Yeah, all right, deal.
Wow.
Mortal wounds everywhere. Perkysaurus says mortal wounds everywhere. That is what happens when you work for scale.
Dear Lord. We're like 2 units into a 400 unit book, right?
Honestly, you guys are going to really enjoy this. So, the ability to... they've also got the same spell that they had before. Cast on 6, pick a unit within 18 inches of the cast invisible to them. To the next hero phase, they subtract 1 from hit rolls made by that unit. So, one enemy unit within 18 inches of the cast.
Okay.
Obviously, that can be 24
Yep.
inches. Minus 1 to hit. Obviously, you always double
But
that up with
you
Geminids.
can't put it onto your own unit.
Can't
now.
put it. So
Okay.
previously you would make your own
Yeah.
unit minus 1 to be hit, but now you can just be like that unit's minus 1 to hit. Double it
Yeah.
up with Geminids, which is obviously great, especially with the bound spells when we talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
So now you just be like, cool, that unit's minus 2. Sweet. So that's the Skink Star Priest. He's
He's
pretty good.
great. How many points is he?
He's 80 points, Nathan.
They've just left the points the same, right? Rewrite roll scrolls.
Honestly,
and left the points the same.
I honestly have to check this. Wait, let me just double check. No, that's wrong, Nathan. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've just triggered you there. That was the Star Priest, right?
Yeah.
He's 120 points.
Okay.
Okay.
This guy's going to be
Still
80.
a bargain. Yeah.
It's a great bargain.
This guy's going to be
He's
80,
120. I'm sorry. I read the wrong thing. Next up, Skink Priest. Yeah, he's only got 4 wounds. He's got 5 up save. Very fragile. He moves 8 inches. Okay. He also has red weapons. What the fuck is going on?
He's also firing a star
He's got
bolt.
a star bolt.
It's a different
Ren
bloody
1.
weapon.
He's also
Loads of
got
shooting.
and he's also got a Starstone staff. Ren 1. Anyway,
What happened to their blowpipes?
agreed. Oh no, they're coming. Now you got a Starstone staff. His ability, Nath. In your hero phase, you can pick one friendly skink unit wholly within 12 inches of this model and roll a dice. So now it's not ability. It happens on a 3+.
Okay.
Until your next hero phase, that unit can run and still shoot and or charge in the same turn, and you can add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target that unit. A unit cannot benefit from this ability more than once. So that's a skink unit.
Another +1 to save
Yes.
and run and charge, and they can do
And run and shoot.
and run and shoot, and they can charge 18 inches 3d6 and
Yeah.
fucking hellfire.
I mean,
and they
you-
do mortal wounds on 6s too.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
You
and
need you need a load of heroes. don't
and
you?
and they just do all of that in the hero phase. It's not like
Yep.
not like the loon boss where you have to running around trying to get everything within 12. And
No,
blah,
I mean,
blah,
this is
blah.
wholly within 12.
Yeah, but it's in the hero phase.
It's in the hero phase, yeah.
Easy to do, yeah.
Very easy to do. He's also got a command ability, just in case.
What?
I feel only Nathan.
Is it commander? Skink Priest commander.
Yeah, you can use his command ability in your hero phase. If you do so, pick one friendly skink unit wholly within 18 inches of the friendly model with his command ability. To your next hero phase, you can add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit. A unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once. More on that +1 to hit later.
+1 to hit command ability.
+1 to hit command ability.
That's
Thankfully, though,
super
you'll have
good.
loads of CP. This skink,
Yeah.
skink priest, guess the points.
80.
No,
There's got to be 100 at least.
he's 70 points.
Fuck.
I mean, he's only got... How many wounds has he got? 4.
4 wounds with a 5-up save.
Okay.
Yeah, but he hasn't got that shooting attack. And he's also got a very...
He's also got red.
He's also got a very fine set of feathers that
He
he's
has.
travelling around in, so
What-
he looks great.
So, but he's not a wizard or anything. But, fair
As
enough.
Rank in the
So
chat says,
it's
I honestly
got
can't be
two
mad if the
abilities.
lizards are the most broken faction until GHB. Agreed. Yeah, because who gives a fuck? If we're all losing to skinks, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Archeon, they're like... and then like 80 skinks are like, fuck you.
Just dies to some blowpipes.
Yeah, so, but you do, if you're thinking about, so I did some quick maths earlier, Nath. So if you wanted the skink priest with the +1 to hit, who's going to give you the ability on a 3+ to potentially get +1 save and run and shoot. Now it's on a 3+, so it might not happen, although I obviously would take more than one of these and give myself 2 3+s just in case.
Yeah.
As he's also like
2 points.
He's he's like
So you can
7
have
points.
6 heroes max there, right?
Yeah, 6 heroes max. But then if you also take the Skink Star Priest, who's 120 points, so I got that wrong earlier. So you're spending 200 points to potentially do all of that stuff. So, you know...
And they can both generate command. Oh, no,
this guy can't. This is
but
the one that
other
can't.
yeah.
So, like, as much as we talk about this, all those abilities that we've just found are located in different places.
Yeah.
So that's 200 points for those 2 units, and, as James pointed out, super fragile. But I digress. Next up, Stegodon.
Great model.
Great model. We're going to talk about the whole thing super quick.
Yep.
Obviously, you can take them as battleline if you want to. They start out at move 8, which is awful, and
Yep.
therefore you'll never take them. They got 10 wounds with a 4-up save. Awful. It also doesn't say 4+.
It's not an engine of the gods.
No, it's not an Energy Gods, it's Stegodon.
Yeah.
It doesn't say 4+, it just says
So
4.
it's just 4. You have to roll
That's
the 4.
definitely
Exactly.
that's definitely a typo. But until then, I'm saying that that's a 4. That's an ethereal like.
no, it's not ethereal. It's
No.
just a 4.
You only have to. I'll roll the 5. Sorry, it's
No,
gone.
yeah,
It's just a 4.
4s only. Yeah. So it's got you can equip it as you've always been able to equip it. You can equip it with javelins, the Sky Streak bow, which is 24 inches, 3 shots, 3 threes around 1, doing 3 damage, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
9 damage at range, and you got the Sunfire throws, which are really good. Every model within 8 inches, you roll a 5+, they take a mortal wound. Yeah, so that's awesome in the shooting phase.
That Sky Street bow will combine nicely with the
Plus everything to
with
it.
the
Plus to hit.
No, the Slan's long range picking things out.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah,
picking out.
Yeah, Slander's the mortal wound bomb.
Yeah.
These guys could do some shooting. Obviously, it takes up
Picking.
one of your behemoth slots.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good. Then he's all right in combat, like pretty decent. His massive horns do damage 4. I personally don't think I would ever take a Stegodon because I think he's not going to survive. That 4-up save is just not going to be good enough, and he's got 10 wounds, so he's just going to die, in my opinion. But you know, other people will have different feelings. I think the Sunfire throws are super cool, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't take them because I'd just do something. They're not as he's nowhere near as mobile as gyrocopters. Like gyrocopters do that job really well, right? But it's mortal wounds, so
I don't know.
If
He's
Hordes
quite
came
mobile.
back-
He's going to be running and shooting.
Yeah, you could do.
He'll have a 3+ save or possibly a 2+ save.
You could, yeah, you could really like put everything onto the one Stegodon, right, and then
and teleport it and throw it up.
yeah, potentially
Yeah,
all
or
those
run
things.
it and yeah.
But
Flying.
so
Running
you could do some really good
Stegodon.
stuff. He's got an armored crest at the start of the combat phase. You can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model that has up to 5 models. So if it's a monster, it does better if it's against a monster, not a horde,
Okay.
right? If you do so until the end of that phase, add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target this unit. So I'll end up on
just proper
yeah. So if it's a monster, it'll have a 3
Triceratops in.
Yeah. You can also give it a skink chief. If you give it a skink chief, then it gets the hero keyword. with the hero keyword, you're able to make friendly skink unit wholly within one friendly skink unit with a command ability. They can have +1 to hit. No, +1 to their attacks characteristic, sorry. +1, and a unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. So you can take a Stegodon with Skink Chief,
Yep.
you can have +1 attack on their profile. Not forgetting you can do extra mortal wounds on 6s.
Yeah.
6s +1 to hit and everything. Yeah.
You can reroll Battle Shock tests for friendly skinks while they're wholly within 18 inches of Stegodon. We've talked about the Gout of Sunfire. And roll 1 dice for each enemy unit that's within 1 inch of this model. When it finishes a charge move, on a 3+, that enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. So it genuinely can do good.
How many points is that, fella?
A Stegodon, let me just go and find out right now, is 240 points.
That's bargain. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think
with the chief, same points, or is
I think it's all the same. No, Stegodon with Chief is 270. Sorry,
Okay.
so it's 30 points more for the
Oh,
Chief.
+1
One
attack
extra
is
attack.
great, though. Yeah.
Especially when
That's
you've got
fine.
command points coming out your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just rolling dice. Oh, I've got 12. It's like playing OBR.
Yeah, exactly. So Stegodon's decent, but it was more I wanted to point out that you can give skink units +1 attack.
Yeah.
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 From the and again that's 270 points to make that happen. And what do you think of him in combat, Nathan? Is all right?
Yeah, he's all right. You say he's lost the -2 rend, or does he still get that on the charge?
Oh, he doesn't get that
No,
charge
it's
anymore.
It's good, isn't it? It's good. Like, he's got
So he's a monster
Got
with
ter-
sharp horns.
terrifying jaws that's as only as sharp as a pointy stick. Amazing.
Apparently, Games Workshop's methodology is they put the model in front of the rules guys,
Yeah.
and they they kind of like circle it like vultures. They're like, so that's skink stick, yeah? Sharp as that Stegodon's horns.
I'd love to know how they choose rend. This giant battle axe doesn't need rend.
And not forgetting, obviously, like Jimmy points out in the chat, you could potentially give him the 3d6 charge if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all of his weapons could be rend too
Yeah.
from that spell.
Yeah. You could also do that as well because you could make another unit -1 save.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 5.
of attacks. If
you Yeah. had
+1 to all of those attacks.
Yeah.
I like what Nathan said. I
Yeah.
mean, you'd be spending 1,000 points, but if you put just 4 of them with Sky Street bows, they're a gun line that can countercharge quite nicely.
Yeah.
Like, pretty decent. Like, and then you would be doing, what is that, 6, 12 shots, 3s and 3s, rend 1, 3 damage. You could genuinely do some work there. It's quite scary.
Yeah, just even looking at the attack. So if you give it +1 to all attacks, it's shooting as well.
+1 attack.
That's only melee.
I'm going to double check. Start at the combat phase.
Okay.
Start the combat phase.
But yeah, kicking out mortal wounds as well, and yeah, happy
Okay.
days.
So the thing that everyone wanted it to be good, the Skink Troglodon on Skink Oracle on Troglodon. The other way around would be
Yeah.
funnier. He's got 12 wounds, more wounds than a Stegodon. He's got a 4-up save. He moves 10 inches, and he's Bravery 6. Now he's got the Noxious Spittle attack. Games Workshop really didn't get the memo about what's a good shooting attack. D3 attacks.
It's got no rend.
Oh, yeah, it's got no rend.
It's poisonous spit. My stick sharper.
Or a bolt from heaven.
Yeah. Well,
D3
that's
attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend and 2 damage. He's got Divining Rod, which is the fellow on top, 2 attacks. Anyway, it's
That's got rend.
Yeah.
That rod.
The rod's got rend, but its claws and venomous jaws
The
don't.
jaws, no rend. The claws.
Honestly, lost.
sad face. Anyway, so the Clawed Forelimb. So Troglodon was comfortably the worst model in maybe the whole of Age of Sigmar up to date, and now it's just also bad like other models. Like not, we'll talk about it. He's got the Claw Forelimbs,
Yep.
4 attacks, 3 3s, no rend, 2 damage, and then he's got the Venomous Jaws, 3
Yeah.
attacks, 4s. Can you see that? Yeah, 4s to wound.
2 up, 3 up, 3 up,
Yeah,
4 up.
no rend, and again 2 damage. So before you even his max output's awful.
Yep.
Yeah, even his max. So he's got Drawn to Screams. If any wounds are inflicted by this model's Noxious Spittle, you can reroll the charge rolls. Not that you'd want him there, because he's shit in combat. But you got the Oracle of the Slan. Add 1 to casting and dispelling unbinding rolls for this model.
Yep.
So it's a
Great.
wizard.
Yeah.
You've got a Venomous Spittle. If the unmodified wound roll for an attack made with the model's Noxious Spittle is a 6, that inflict attack does D3? No, just 1 mortal wound.
Always good, as well as the two.
In addition,
to the 2, it's non-rending characteristic.
yeah, so
Excellent.
careful. Subtract 1 from bravery characteristics from units within 3 inches. Not particularly a big deal, but sure. In your hero phase, you can roll a dice of this model. Oh, hold on. You can basically heal D3 wounds on a 2+.
2.
D3 wounds on a 2+ in the hero phase.
To itself.
To itself.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's quite good.
And then obviously he's a 1-cast wizard that can unbind, and he's still got that AoE mortal wound spell wherever on the board.
So is it the same name as the other
Same
spell?
name.
So
Same
you
name.
can't cast this one and the
No.
other one.
So it's the same spell, which is they've done quite well on that sort of stuff.
But there's a spell lore, I assume.
Yeah, there is a spell
Yeah.
law. We're not even
Good.
there yet.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not sorry though, because it's fucking exciting, right? Especially as it's all skinked powered. Now, not forgetting you can give +1 to hit to this guy, +1 attacks.
Yeah, but he's not there as a combat thing, as he's quite a tough wizard, really.
Yeah, I'd actually argue he's not there for anything. Like, so he's 240 points.
Whoa.
Let me just double check this. Trogdodon, 260 points.
Because he's not quite as good as a wizard as a Slan,
No.
and he's not kind of
He's
as good at
The
fighting.
same amount of points as
Yeah.
a Slan, isn't
Yeah,
it? Oh, you'd take a Slan over him.
all day long.
He's
you
not
don't
a
get the
Slan.
command points. You don't generate those.
And he's not a Stegodon in combat.
Yeah, he's none of those things. He doesn't suit a role. The only USP, the only unique thing he has about him is obviously somewhere on the board you can cast a spell to him. But he's got the skink keyword, so you could potentially have +2 to save.
Yeah.
So you could teleport him with +2 to save and be like, hope that motherfucker lives there for a turn, and then cast a spell through him.
But you could also do that with the little feather cape guy who's like 70 points.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Or a Slan.
Or Croak.
Or
Yeah.
just tanky Slan just going for it.
Yeah. The +1 attacks are from the skink chief on the Stegodon.
Right.
That's where you're getting the +1 attacks from in combat.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why I wanted to. That's why I've gone through all the skinks, because actually, the skink keyword is affected so much in the game. I thought I'd talk about it. So I think that as much as the Troglodon, it's nice he's there, and you could probably make some hilarious lists. I mean, you could throw him forward and do Croak's spell through him, but Croak's, you just put him with Temple Guard, and then he's not going to die, and then he's doing it in fucking self.
Yeah.
Like focal points.
Like you said, there's cheaper skinks to throw away to do that, really. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so Asteroid TV reckons Trog is a good Oracle avenue to cast Croak's spell. You definitely could do that. I just don't think you're going to do that for 240 points, is my point. Because he serves no other utility than that one job. And if you think that one job will win you the game, that's great. But
Yeah. I mean, if the spell law's really good, then maybe, but I doubt it.
cue music, it's not. But right, Skinks! Finally, a battle line unit. So Skinks, they're 1 wound each, obviously with a 6-up save. They move 8 inches. They lost the ability to retreat. I'm sure you've all heard about that.
Yeah.
What are your two thoughts? I'd rather get what you two think.
They still look good.
What do you reckon, Dave?
I mean, I think that ability was really good. But they seem to be taking stuff like that away, like they did with the Fanatics, stopping the Fanatics charging
I don't know though. It's dumb, isn't
So-
it? Because they've taken it off Skinks, but they gave it Furies.
Furies can do that.
Yeah, Furies have an even
Melt
better
away.
version.
Yeah.
So they instead can fight or flight. Maybe is the word in, but instead they do the exact same thing, but they fly, so they can move 12, and you can't even pin them in.
Yeah, it's what's really odd is like we've seen like replication of rules, right? Like so we saw the Wrathmongers lose their wicked ability previously, and then but we've seen Skinks lose their ability, but it's already been put onto those, as you said, those Furies for Warcry, and they're just like.
Well, they did the same with Fanatics. They took that away from the Fanatics and then gave it to Aetherwings. So.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense, right? Well, it does maybe it makes sense. Maybe they think it's in other places, but it's odd because now I feel like the unit doesn't play how I because I created a narrative in my head for how Wrathmongers worked and also for how Skinks worked, and I learnt the idea that they were just flipping around, and now they're not, and I think it's a sad change. I'm not like it's their game; they can do what they like, but I think it's sad. Is the only thing, yeah.
So the only thing I like, just looking at it, and I know it was brought up once on stream before because he thought it was funny. So all of James's are built with no shields, so they've all got double weapon. So when you look at it and you're like, oh, that's a lot of attacks. when you can give it loads of extra things.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And also, when we get to it, skinks can also still retreat. There is a command ability to do some stuff, and you could also do a stand and shoot with them as well. Okay. So they can still do stuff. What they did, and I was speaking to Darren Watson the other day, me and Darren are going to do a list show specifically on Seraphon later in the week. This is just the review show. We'll do a list show later. But I was talking to Darren, and Darren was saying that what he feels that's happened is a lot of the unique parts of the army have just been taken out of the war scrolls, like you see with Eels, for example, that all of their good rules are just baked into their war scroll.
Yeah.
And Hearthguard Berserkers, the same thing, all baked into their war scroll, and then just put them on the characters. Which means if you kill the characters, I know it's a meme, you'll stop the army from working as well.
Yeah.
That's good. So, but have the points changed to reflect that change as well? 'Cause
Yes.
that was a strong thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how many points?
60 points for 10 skinks.
Well then, yeah.
And then-
it's happy days.
Yeah,
isn't
and
it,
you
at
can
that?
take them in blocks of 40,
But
and
they're
their
only-
battle line, and they're 240 points for 40.
They were only 70 before mine, weren't
Yeah. But that's a 40-point difference, right?
Yeah.
they? Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
So if you... But...
But 60-point unit of 10 dudes is great.
Yeah, really good. Just for board control. it's
Just flood the
fantastic.
board with them.
But when you're actually looking to stack them up, let's have some fun, right? So they got Star Bucklers. If you take Star Bucklers, which means you're taking the Javelins, you add +1 to their save rolls.
Oh, so
Now-
you can't take a shield and a blowpipe.
So you take the Celestine Dagger and Star Buckler, Bolt Spitter and Moonstone Club, Bolt Spitter, Celestine Dagger and Star Buckler, or Moonstone Club and Star Buckler. I think that's right.
So you can take the bolt spitter and
Yes, I think so. I actually didn't read that, so
Meteoric Javelin.
Twitch chat just hang out with me.
They can have the Meteoric Javelin, Dagger, and a shield, a Bolt Splitter, the club.
No, they can. So all options are still there.
Yeah.
All right, sweet.
They basically always get the dagger.
yeah.
It's in their mouth.
Right.
It's a sharp dagger, but not as sharp as
So
a
if you take the
stick.
buckler, they're going to have a five up save.
Yeah.
If you
all
get-
the time.
but you can take that block of 40 skinks and have them on a 3-up save. If you want to, you can have on a 2-up save against shooting.
Yep.
On 40 skinks. Yep.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Got no Ren though.
No, well, that's okay because
13 mortal
you get
wounds, aren't
you also if you add one to the attacks characteristic of weapons used by this unit while there are 15 or more models. Again, Nathan, it doesn't specify shooting or combat.
Yeah.
So
So both.
so both. So if you have 40,
And +1 attack.
well, so yeah. So what you could do is you could have 40.
Yeah.
You can have +1 attack. So if you wanted to, you could have the javelins. I like the ball splitters because it's 16-inch range. They move 8. They obviously could run and charge, so you could CP that to a 6.
And run and shoot and charge.
Yeah, run and shoot and charge. Yep, with 3d6 to charge. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So you could have 40, 80, 120 attacks with +1 to hit, so you could be hitting on 4s, and then any 6s to wound are going to cause mortal wounds, and then you can do the same thing again in combat.
Yeah.
From 240 points. Now you have to spend a lot of points to make that unit do that
Yeah.
thing, but you can do that.
And that's why they don't retreat anymore, because they're never gonna.
Because they're only going to...
Everything will be dead.
We're retreating!
We killed everything instead, boss. Yeah, we're fucking...
We didn't sharpen these, but we're gonna stab them 140 times.
Oh, do you know what? I think I'd much prefer that. Yeah, because they'll be doing 140 attacks in combat, in shooting, and then 140
Yeah.
attacks in combat. Like, so, and with +1 to hit,
I do think there is a small problem with this whole plan.
what is it?
Well, by the time you've shot them, there'll be nothing left to charge.
Well,
Well,
it's okay,
so-
because they can charge 3d6.
That's true. Yeah.
140. So that's 70 going through. So that's
And
10
how many of those?
mortal
It's
wounds?
11 mortal wounds, yeah.
yeah.
In 11 mortal wounds you're shooting, not including any attacks that go through with
Yeah,
no
10
rend.
to 12 mortal wounds.
And then you charge and you do the same. So 22 mortal wounds from that unit, like in shooting and combat. Nice. Really good. Battle Tome Skinks.
Charging 3d6.
But
Which you set up in the... Yeah.
by every hero. And how many points does that cost? 240. for
Yeah, oh no!
40.
So you do have, like we said, so like you would be spending at least the +1 attacks actually comes only from the Skink Chief on the Stegodon.
Yeah.
So you're spending 270 points for that, which I don't think is worth it because I'd rather have the other 40 Skinks
Okay, yeah.
instead. Like, and then that's why the Troglodon's not here because I'm like, what are you doing, Troglodon? You're not 40 Skinks.
He's
Go
spitting on
away.
people with his renless spit. Oh, it would have gone through if it had any rend.
And also, thank you, Omega Havoc, pointing out. I know we haven't got there yet, but you could also stand and shoot as well when we get to it. So if
We're
they
not
get
there yet.
Yeah, but
We're getting there. Calm it down.
right. the Ripidactyl Chief. I'm trying not to go on about this. He's got so there's now a special character for Ripidactyls, special character for Pterodons.
As a single standalone model.
As a single standalone model, which you build from the kit that you buy.
So,
But they haven't changed the kit.
No. So you'll end up with... You'll have to buy a whole box of 3 for one character.
That's cool. eBay's going to be having a great time.
The mortal wounds are on the unmodified 6s to wound.
Yeah.
Which is why that +1 to hit is so important, so you can get through more.
As many.
More dices,
Yeah.
If it was on the to hit, it would be
Done.
bananas.
Yeah. Right, so you got Voracious Appetite. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by Terran Jaws is a 6, the attack scores 2 hits instead of 1. So that's his ability. Now he's got a command ability, Ripidactyl Assault. He uses command ability at the start of the combat phase. If you do so, pick one friendly model with this command ability until the end of that phase. Add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Ripidactyl units that are wholly within 18 inches of this model. Okay? So, +1 attack on Ripidactyls.
That's...
So you could use this and the Skink Chief
Yes.
+1 attack.
Yeah.
Double up the attacks of the Ripidactyls and give them the mortal wounds as well.
Well, you
Because
can
they've all
act-
got the Skinks thing.
Yeah. Well, you can actually just stack that.
Yeah.
Like, you can just keep doing that.
Oh, that same command ability.
Yeah,
stackable.
it's the
That's
only
so
one you've read out so far that didn't say this only happens once.
Yes.
That's...
Right, so then Ripidactyls.
Hang on. But they don't generate many command points, right?
The army.
Oh, wait.
No,
Wait, we've done that. Sorry, no. I forgot.
Yeah, like, if you put an Aether Quartz brooch in this army, it's dumb as fuck. Like,
It's all right. Every event's banning them now. It's fine.
So now Ripidactyls have changed. Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll talk about. They've got 3 wounds each with a 5-up save. Now that's previously what happened with Ripidactyls. They would go in, they would kill something, they die.
Yep.
Yeah. Now obviously I can have +2 to their save.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more confident about that unit now. 3-up save, re-rolling 1s with a bit of Mystic Shield. Maybe also make up something minus to hit. Bit of Geminids. Have a great time. But their base War Scroll's tough unless you do something about it. They've got their Moonstone War Spear. 1 attack, 4s, no rend, 1 damage. Now, obviously, that could already be, as we've talked about, plus however many attacks we could generate from our CPs. And Terran Jaws, 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, wound on 3s, no rend, 1 damage. But again, same
6s
thing.
do double.
6s do
split up.
No. Voracious Appetite. If the
Yeah.
unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the Terran Jaws is a 6, it generates 2 hits.
Yeah.
So actually stacking that command ability so you get as many attacks as you can get means that you'll also generate more 6s.
Loads of attacks. So loads of attacks from these guys.
And they also have the skink keyword,
So you can make mortal wounds.
so you can make mortal wounds.
And they're very fast and they can charge 3d6.
Yes. They move 12 inches,
So they can run and charge.
and if you wanted to, you can make them run and charge,
And
and they
charge
fly.
3d6.
and charge 3d6. Yeah.
Fine. It's fine.
How many points? How many points are there these days? How many points are there these
Oh,
days?
okay, the Ripidactyl. We're not even finished,
Oh.
because the Toad Raid.
Well, there's still more abilities, don't worry. One
Sorry.
ability is never enough.
So don't forget they had All Hail the Blot Toad.
Yep.
All Hail. At the start of the combat phase, this is the best bit, because inside the Ripidactyl
it's
kit, you
Blot
do
Toad.
genuinely get...
Still
A
get a
frog.
toad.
You get a Blot Toad, yeah, a frog, and you put it down, and it's super important. At the start of the combat phase, you can set 1 Blot Toad marker next to 1 enemy unit. If you do so, you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by this Terran Jaws on friendly Ripidactyl units that are wholly within 6 inches of that enemy unit at the end. You can only use it once per battle.
Okay.
But you take 12 Rippers. Let's just be conservative,
Yep.
and we'll only add +2 attacks.
Okay.
Yeah, so 12.
It's not that
times-
many, right?
No, 12 times. That's 60 attacks.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's because it's good maths. It makes
Yeah.
it easy for us. 10 of those are generating extra hits.
Yep.
So that's sweet. So we're now getting, on average, on 4s,
You gave them +2 attacks.
+2 attacks. So they're hitting on. They've got 5 attacks on the Terran Jaws.
Oh,
5 attacks
okay,
each.
what about the spears as well?
Oh,
Three,
yeah,
plus 3 attacks there as well. So
Yeah.
it's 8 attacks per model.
We won't even do the maths. It's a shitload of mortal wounds, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It's a shitload of mortal
They'll
wounds.
kill anything.
Yeah.
Anything in the game.
So I did once.
There's nothing that will live.
In the
Mortec
old-
Guard, you can put them back in your box now because all of these skink things are going to just take them off.
Can you say that one more time? Skinks.
Skink things.
Only skink.
Only skinks. It's all right. We get to Saurus yet.
Why did you make a noise like you were coming?
No, because I'm just bored. Anyway, so Ripidactyls for a unit of 3. Yeah.
Yep. 120.
Nathan.
I mean, there should be more, but I'm going
I
conservative.
don't know. I think there were 120. Yeah, I will just stay at that. What are they?
80 points. 320 points for 12 of these. And as stated, currently, Heinrad's pointing out that Marathi could survive. Agreed.
Good for her.
Yeah. 320 points for 12 of those, and they will delete. Now, again, you need all of those, we talked about, those bonus, because the Skink Chief, the Ripidactyl Chief, he's not cheap. He's 80 points.
Okay.
So...
I guess I guess the only...
It's the same points as these guys.
Yeah. I guess the only problem you've got is really, I mean, whatever they hit's dead. Let's go there. So you fully buff them, whatever they hit's dead. But by the time the next turn comes round, they have no buffs left. And they're probably going to die.
Yes.
Because
No. They're not probably going to die.
You've given them a 3-up save.
I'm giving them a 3-up save.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I haven't even talked about the other stuff I can do to them yet.
It's all right. We'll all buy a Daughters of Cain army. That's the point of this. Everyone's going to buy a
They've still
Daughters
got
of
the
Cain army.
teleporting stuff.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
don't they?
Once.
Yeah.
Once, not twice.
Yeah.
well,
But that's in the right... that's right, Cage
Well, I
Red.
mean, the chief can fly over, follow them around, and then obviously just teleport the other
Whoever
dude
you want.
over, yeah.
But arguably, this is arguably the dumbest build, but there's also some great other dumb builds. Yeah,
Okay.
let's get into it. So that's Ripidactyls. Now Pterodons. Pterodon Chief. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by melee weapons that by models that cannot fly that target this model, so he's a bit survivable. 5 wounds, but he's only got 6 up save.
Oh, it's 16-inch move.
16-inch move. Yeah, he goes pretty fast.
He's on an eel with wings.
Yeah, he's got an eel with wings.
Eels don't go 16 inches.
They go 14.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's faster. It's got wings. Apparently with red
Omega
stripes.
Havoc points out that the Ripidactyls used to be 580 points for 12.
Oh,
They're now 320.
they obviously needed to be cheaper.
with 1 billion attacks from always. Anyway, Pterodon Chief. He's got a command ability, which basically means the deadly cargo, which previously Pterodons would fly over a unit on a 4+, they would do D3 mortal wounds, and you would roll a dice for each Pterodon in the unit. So if you had 12, you'd roll 12 dice. Sweet. They'd be put in the Shadow Strike Star Host. You can't do that anymore. There's none of that. Deploy within 3.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, if you use his command ability, it's on a 2+ as opposed to a 4+. So that unit of 12 will statistically do 20 mortal wounds in the movement phase once per battle, which is pretty good. I'd also like to point out they also have the skink keyword.
Are they also 16-inch move? The Pterodons.
Great question. Correct.
Fuck. And they can run and charge and all that.
They can. Now, what do you equip them with? So they've got the Star Strike
Does it
Javelin.
say movement phase or does it just say move?
It just says move, Nathan.
Ah.
Do you want to explain to James why that's bad?
So they're charging 3d6. You can drop the bombs when you charge because it's move. It's not movement phase. So you could charge over something into something else
and if it didn't
kill
get there-
both units.
Agreed. Well, you can only do the drop bombs once.
Yeah, fly over the screen, kill that, land on the other stuff, kill that.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. We're already going to have killed the screen because we've got the Star Strike Javelins, which you can take, which are 2 shots, 4s, 3s, no rend, 1 damage. Or you can take the
You
sun.
say 2 shots, but you mean 1 gazillion shots.
Well, no, there's only
only plus 1. Yeah,
you can only add +2 to this unit. No, +1 from the Skink Chief.
Yeah.
Now, if you take the Sunleech Bowlers, though, D6 shots, 6-inch range. So if you take 12 of them, that's 12d6 shots. I did the maths on that earlier. Oh, no, I didn't. It's something. Whatever the fucking 12d6, the average of 12d6 is.
Plus 12.
Yeah, plus 12.
Yeah.
Because you're Skink Chief them.
Yeah, perfect. They hit on 4s, but you can just make it so they hit on 3s.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
just
Fair
always useful.
And then they wound on 3s, but no rend, but you don't matter because you're going to give them a ton of mortal wounds.
Yep.
So you'll do that in the shooting phase, and then you'll charge, then you'll drop all of your mortal wound rocks, and then you'll actually fight, and you'll have added +1, so they've got 5 attacks each. Yeah, that's with the +1. Hit on 4s, but it's hit on 3s, give them +1. Wound on 4s, but any of those are mortal wounds. Yeah? Wounded on 4s, right? Now, I haven't actually talked about any...
Oh, the riders don't fight. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the riders don't fight. But I
They
haven't...
don't need to.
It's just the razor sharp jaws that have no rend.
Have you noticed yet that I've talked about none of the allegiance abilities or other ways you can buff this up? This is just the War Scrolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Pterodons are also incredible.
Yeah.
There is, when we get to it later, there's a way to make them move 19 inches, not including cogs. So
And they're 50 points for 3.
no, that's not true at all. The points. Let's get on to it. Pterodon Chief is 70 points.
Okay, so they're 70 points for 3.
So no, Pterodons. No, because they're the same as Ripidactyls, so you would obviously make them 90 points for 3. 360 points for 12. Decent. So all I'm saying is, yeah. Let me just check this. Let me just check the ability on the Skink Chief. If you do so,
They've only got a 6-up save though, not like the Ripidactyls, eh?
What, the
Pterodons,
Pterodons? That's
yeah.
right. They've only got 6-up save, unless you give them that +2 save, in which case it's a 4-up save.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to point out that obviously you could just take multiples of those Pterodons, and I could just move forward 19 inches and do 40
They're
more.
just so fast, they're not really under threat until they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could do 40 mortal wounds just in the movement phase.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to put my poor Flames by Phoenixes back in the box and just paint up 24 Pterodons.
It's all right. We'll just wait for the FAQ before I buy anything.
Yeah, there is 2 weeks for the FAQ. Right, next up, the Bastillodon. Got a skink keyword. Important to point out. He's got 10 wounds.
These guys, I think Zinch is fucked.
I think a lot of people are fucked.
Because
But no, because think about turn 1, right? They got no pre-game moves when I talk about it. You can't screen overly well. Well, you can screen, but with all your syncs and stuff. But what I mean is you've got no pre-game move. So if someone can alpha something pretty good, and Zinch can alpha shoot really well, because it's all of the characters that are on 4 wounds or something. Like, they've got no ability to drop low, and Halahart just dropped the comet on them and a fucking bunch of shit, and they're done. So, like, if you take the characters out, this army will fall to fucking pieces.
yeah.
Like,
Just kill the characters.
yeah, but it will, but like the issue is, can you? And it doesn't have a 1 drop, so as much as they're abusive,
Can you garrison the characters and hide them behind that fucking thing?
you
Not
can only
even,
put 1 unit.
you can only garrison 1 unit.
I think so.
So not like the boats then.
Oh no, can you multiple garrison?
Yeah.
Well then yeah, but then it's the wounds characteristic, right? You can't ever garrison the Stegodon.
Yeah. And I mean, but it's quite a big thing, isn't it? You can just hide behind it.
Yeah, I mean, there's also that. There's also that.
Because I mean, sometimes the garrisoning thing is a 2-edged sword. Because if you hit it with a end of spell, then everything inside.
Can you do command abilities from the garrison?
Yeah,
then? Oh, well then, that's really good.
I guess the only thing is, if we go back to that crazy piece of terrain, it might not ever end up anywhere near your
Oh,
deployment.
Yes.
this is true.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
Stephen AOS just said that in the chat as well, so that's
Yeah,
that's a good
you've
point.
got less ability with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, like, I get you. I personally, if you let this army have its go, it's going to delete
Yeah.
the fuck out of you. But I
Yeah,
think
because like Zinch are pretty fragile, really.
so. Zinch are the good guys now.
No, fuck those guys.
Right, Bastillodon's got 10 wounds. Now, he used to have a 3-up unrendable save.
Yeah.
That's changed.
And 8 wounds.
And 8 wounds. He's got more wounds. He moves 5, which I think might be 1 faster, but I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. I think you're right. Yeah,
It's an inch faster, so yeah, he's just going. Yeah, so Chris Cave Jr. in the chat saying Zinch Flames will be on D3-1. We'll talk about that in a bit. Anyway, so he's got 2. You used to be able to give him the Arcosotech or the Solar Engine. Yeah, he has now a 1-up save that gets worse as he gets more damage. So you're chipping
fair
through the armor,
yeah.
right? Which is pretty cool.
Yep.
But it's going to be super tough to deal with. There are ways to heal him. We'll talk about that in a bit. Engine of the Gods can do that and stuff. So do you choose now between the Solar Engine and the Arcosotech? And the Arcosotech, unfortunately, we all have to say, is now shit.
The snake engine.
They got rid of the snakes. I mean, the snakes are still there, but they suck.
They don't do anything anymore.
Well, so you get to roll 18 dice with the Arcosotech in close combat, and for every hold on, yeah, any 6s to, so it's 4s to hit, 6s to wound, but if the hit roll for an attack made with the Arcosotech is a 6, it inflicts 1 mortal wound.
Everyone else has already got that.
So potentially you do 3 mortal wounds.
Yeah, and then what is it to hit? Sorry.
6s. A 6 to hit.
No,
No, what's to hit?
Oh,
No, what's
4s
the
to hit.
Hitting on 4s.
And then
Wounded on
So
6s.
9. Whatever.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
It's shit. It's really
He's
shit.
doing about 5.
It's shame
mortal
too,
wounds
'cause that's
when you've got loads of mortal wounds coming out of other stuff.
Yeah.
in
It's
the
a cool
combat
model.
phase.
The snake launcher one.
Pardon me?
It's a cool model
The snaky one, yeah.
Yeah.
with all the little snakes dangling
Sounds
everywhere.
like it's been
But now the laser beam's great. So laser beam, solar engine, 24 inches. So it starts out at 9 attacks. So no longer 2d6, just starts at a flat 9. Hits on a 4. It's got the skink keyword, so +1 to hit if you want it.
Yep.
plus
add-
one attack.
+1
so
attack
10.
if you want to. Wounds on a 3. Rend 1, doing 2 damage. If it's demons, it's going to do 3 damage. So only Rend 1 though. But
But there's a spell that makes Ren 2, basically.
well, you could potentially make something have one less save. Yeah, agreed. So that's 24 inches and it moves 5, so 29 inches effective range. So it equals flamers for their range, and then doesn't equal boats, but it's got some pretty good survivability against stuff like boats.
Well, if something hasn't got rend, it's
On a one-up
pretty
save.
much, yeah.
Yeah, you stick a missing shield on one of these bad boys. So they're great. Bastillodons, really good. They come in at 220 points.
So they've gone down.
They've gone down.
It's nice.
Yeah. So importantly, it's a dinosaur with a laser beam. It is. So they clearly want this to be the model that gets
Venusaur.
like they're like, we want kids in stores playing with this so people
What's
see
laser
laser
beams?
dinosaurs. So yeah, Bastillodon's fantastic. Long story short.
This is also nuts because they haven't got rid of any models.
Oh, yeah. No.
Everything else has lost models. There doesn't seem to be any model that's gone.
Yeah. But so this is really good. And if you think about it, 440, 880. So 880 points. We'll come back to that because I can't wait to tell you about the bit where they shoot twice. So they're 800. They're 880 points for 4 of them, for which you would get 36 shots.
Cool.
For 40 wounds that starts on a 1-up save.
But you'd not be able to take the guy that gives you an extra attack.
No, Skink Chief. You won't be able to take the Skink
Okay.
Chief because that would be all your monster slots
Yeah.
done. Okay. There we go. So he's great. Next up, Razordon Hunting Pack.
They don't come in ones anymore.
So now you get a Razordon, you get 3 Skinks handlers with them, and that's what you pay. Yeah.
Okay, because no one was using the ones that they were buying.
Because they're ugly. Yeah. They do 2d6 shots. They hit on 3s and wound on 4, so it's the same as they ever was.
Yep.
18-inch range, and they move 8, so 26-inch effective range, which is great. If you're within 6 inches, it's gonna you're gonna improve its rem by 1. If there are enemy units within 3 inches of this unit at the end of a charge phase, so if they get charged, they automatically do a stand and shoot, but they only roll 1d6 as opposed to 2d6.
Okay.
At the end of a charge phase.
If there are any enemy units within 3 inches of this unit at the end of the charge phase, they didn't write the enemy charge phase.
So you can charge and shoot things.
Hold on, let me reread it. I quite like reading rules too, Nathan.
and if
No, don't say it. You'll say it. Go on.
and if they just in the fight anyway, every charge phase they're just shooting
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as they're in the fight.
because it was.
Well,
if an-
thankfully, they're not that great in the combat phase. They've got 3
it doesn't
attacks
matter what they're
each.
shooting.
Well, they've got 3 attacks each. 3s and 3s.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Ren 2,
Yep.
2 damage.
You were lying to us. He was lying to us.
Hang on.
Because it could be Ren 3.
Do they still
And it could be extra.
or do they always shoot?
They always shoot.
So 4 attacks each. Threes,
Oh.
threes, minus 3 rend.
If you did that,
yeah.
spell. Damage 2. Now, obviously, they've got the skink keyword, so
Yeah, +1 to attack, +1 attack,
or
+1 to hit,
+1 to hit.
+1 save.
No, well, so we
Blah-de-blah-de-blah.
can. So what you can have, which is fun, is you can have a 2-up armor save Razordon hunting pack.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Who are hitting your 2s.
Yep.
All of their attacks.
Yep.
Yeah, an extra attack each. Although I wouldn't do that, but you could. Yeah, all of their attacks on 6s to wound do mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in shooting. Yes.
And combat.
And combat.
Nathan.
Yeah, and rend.
Is the mortal wound in addition? I forget.
And then they charge in and do it all again, and then, yeah, sure.
How many? So
What the fuck?
to these,
What's up?
can I take multiple?
Oh, great question. So they are artillery, which is a bit of a shame. So you can only one pack, which is not one pack, but
So
like
it's 1 and 3.
You buy a Razordon and 3 skinks, with
Which
it,
is
but
what you buy.
The skinks are effectively ablative wound markers.
But I mean, that's what you physically buy.
That's what you physically buy. However, Razordons are 80 points for what you're seeing as War Scroll.
Yeah.
So if you did want to buy 4 of them, so that means you would get 8d6 shots.
Yeah.
That would cost
Can
you.
you take them in 4s?
You can, yeah. So they've gone up. They used to be.
to
They
4s.
dropped them down to 3s because
Yeah.
some dickhead kept taking loads, and then they pumped it back up to 4 now. So 320 points. So for that max unit you'd end up with 4 Razordons.
Yeah.
You'd end up with 8d6 shots.
Yeah.
Hitting on 2s. Might as well spend a cheeky command point, make them reroll.
2d6 shots.
Seeing as
So
you've
it's
got
eight-
quite
four
a
of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
So
sorry.
it's 8d6. Might as well hit on 2s. Might as well reroll 1s because you've got command points coming out the end.
Might as well give them all the extra attack as well.
And then any 6s to wound are going to cause a
Yeah.
mortal wound.
So
Yeah. And
And then you might as well charge
Yeah.
and do it all again.
And then in combat, you'll end up with 12 attacks, hitting on 2s, reroll 1s because you've spent the CP.
Yeah, you might as well.
It carries on. I think the CP carries on. No, it's for the phase, isn't
Yeah.
it? The reroll 1s.
Yeah, but you got.
you'd have to spend another.
You're getting
CP.
13 a turn. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So then you end up with. So then you end up with 3s to wound, Ren 2 damage.
Nice.
Nice.
What more
Any
do you need?
6s and more wounds. Nice. That's pretty good. Wait, it's max 12, which is 3 razors, says everyone. Is that right?
Did you say it was 4 in a pack?
Yeah, 4 in a pack.
Yeah. So if max is 12, then it's only.
Oh yeah,
3
because I can't do
packs.
maths.
Yeah.
Basic, simple maths. Apologies, everyone.
Sorry.
So the max you can end up with is 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3. Damn it, 66. Okay, so not as good. But you also don't forget, because the ability to do the mortal wounds is not even a command ability, it's just an ability that you can't do on the same unit twice, but you can do multiple times.
Yeah.
So you just get that character to do it on 2 units of Razordons, and you're having a great time. Thank you, Twitch chat, by the way. If the maths teacher, if you need a tutor, Rob. Can I also get a spelling tutor from the chat? And also, I don't know.
So they
PA.
Huh?
PA.
Yeah.
So it's 3 skinks and then the lizard.
Yeah.
So it's effectively 4 wounds because the 3 skinks die first and
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
lizard dies.
Because there used to be 4 wounds, and you could buy them and the skink handlers then as a separate unit that buff them.
And
couldn't
you lose some celestite goes.
You lose some crap.
Yeah. It actually doesn't say about. A Razordon has a wounds characteristic of 3 instead of 1. Wait, 1 in every 4 models, this unit must be a Razordon
Yeah.
instead of a skink handler. So
And it has how many wounds? 3.
it has 3 wounds.
Oh, okay. So the 3 skinks die, and
So he's
then
got
you've got
6
3 more
wounds.
wounds to get through to get rid of that.
Yeah.
1 in every 4 models, yeah. So there's 1 wound each. But do I have to always remove? Do I have to do? Let's say I've got a unit of 3 actual
can
Razordons.
choose what
You
to
choose
do.
where it's going.
Yeah, you choose what to put on.
So you just
So,
you,
so
you
I
have
can
all
take
of them.
9 wounds before I even do any damage to a
Yeah.
Razordon.
Yeah,
Lol.
and they've got 4 up save. Even those handlers
Yeah,
have got
even
4
the-
up save.
even-
Oh no, because we can make them have a 2-up save.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
which
Let's
is
put them in
important.
cover. Let's put them in cover.
1 up save.
That's fine. It's staying here.
Flying
If only there was some
around.
sort of giant pyramid, I could put these dickheads inside.
Be even better, because there'll be a Bastilido next to them. They'll be like, we're on the same save, mate.
So that's nice. So you can do. Did the Zinch guy write this book? No, I actually think a grot high on LSD wrote this book.
Skink.
So that's Razordons. They're fantastic. But 320 points isn't cheap.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Like that's.
sure.
I mean, sorry, how many wounds are we doing? Even without all the buffs, they're great.
But now we get to the second ugliest model in the book, the Salamander Hunting Pack. They suck as models. If you want really pretty models, please go to Mace Miniatures because they do genuinely really pretty salamander. They're like called salamanders. Also, if you try and spell Mace, you will not get them. I ended up managing to get to Reese's Pieces, the chocolate company earlier.
So Rob would also need an English tutor.
Yeah.
chap.
Anyway, Salamander Hunting Pack. They've got the same thing. 3 wounds on the salamander. Obviously, you've got your 3 skink handlers.
Oh, okay.
They move only 8 inches, but now their stream of fire has been upgraded to 12 inches,
Okay.
which is great because previously you would teleport them and not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Now you can. Sweet. They have 4 attacks for some reason.
Potentially 5.
They're more on fire than they used to be.
Yeah, so from a unit of 3, let me get this right now, 12 attacks, hit on 3s, obviously could be hitting on 2s.
Yeah.
Wound on 3s, Ren 2 doing D3 damage. So they're kind of like
Ren
flamers.
2. Wow.
Um,
Nice.
If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a stream of fire or burning jaws is a 6, so that's in close combat as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. It inflicts D3 mortal wounds on target unit, and the attack sequence ends. So it's actually not very good to put the mortal wounds thing.
you don't want
It's
it.
fine. Yeah.
But
they're,
plus
doing,
one to-
they're doing loads of damage. They don't need that. The mortal wounds can go on the
The
fucking
80 skips.
Ripidactyls or the skinks or something else. Yeah. These
Yeah.
guys, they've got enough rend. They're fine.
Yeah, if anyone can find the link to those salamanders in the chat, I'd super appreciate you putting it in because they look really pretty, those Mirs ones. Also, Mirs, like, I'm not beyond you sending me just 12 of these, by the way, to play at tournaments. Mersha, that's it. I'll also get its right ones. But in close combat, they're pretty good as well. 3 attacks, hit on 3s, could be 2s, wounded on 3s, Ren 2, D3 damage.
There you go.
Any 6s, mortal wounds. Salamanders, they're the same points for some reason. 80 points for 4, so 320 points for the 3.
Obviously not that great.
No.
Got to keep them low so people use them.
I mean, they're ugly as fuck models. Like, they are, like, I would never, like, if anyone's bought the new ones on purpose to use, like, stop.
But
Send them back.
people buy cack all the time from Games Workshop if
Oh,
it's good.
what have they made? They make brilliant models, but, like, what have they
Who?
made recently that's shit?
Oh, nothing recently.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, you're the only dickhead who's got 140 Marauders. You painted 140 bare-breasted 80s super soldiers.
He-Man. Everyone's a He-Man.
At what point did you lose your fucking mind?
Do you know what I have to say? Hilariously, I was on about this the other day. So when they came, I was like, these are hideous. By the time I painted 140, it's the most fun I've had painting in ages. because
you could turn the
I
corner.
literally
Drag on
didn't
drugs.
care.
Yeah.
So I was just painting them, and I was like, I don't care. I haven't got to be fussy. They're hideous anyway. About halfway through, I was like, this is so nice. I don't care. Missed a bit. Oh well. Keep going. It's great. So now I'm kind of attached to them.
Oh, hold on. What's 240 points? I get the points wrong in the chat. Thanks, everyone. 240. Maybe I've got... My spreadsheet says that salamanders are 320. Are they 240? Question mark. Let me just go back to salamanders because I don't want to have read out the wrong thing.
Cool.
1 in every 4 models is salamander. It's got 3 wounds. Wounds characteristics 3, and 1 is armed with stream of fire and burning goads. 1 in every 4 models. I'm pretty certain.
And they're 80 points each.
80 points times 3.
Yeah, because you can't take 4. That's what we've already...
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I'm wrong on
Yeah.
both situations. Thank you, everyone.
80 times 3 is...
80 times 3. So, yeah, the Razordon's the same.
240.
Razordon's are 240. Yeah. So my sheet says that you can take 4 for some reason. So, apologise. Man who writes book has done a great job, and I'm really proud of him.
There you go.
Now, Chameleon Skinks. Woohoo! They're different. They move 8 inches. They got 1 wound, got 6 up save. They've got their Dart Pipes, which 2 attacks, 3s, 4s, no render, 1 damage. Instead of setting this unit on the battlefield, you can place it to one side and say it's held in reserve. If you do so, at the end of your movement phases, set this up 9 inches. So it can deep strike. If this unit is not on the battlefield at the end of your movement
Does it
phase,
still have to be 9 away?
yeah, 9 away.
Okay, so you can't deep strike onto people's
It
toes
didn't-
like
Which
it
you used to be able to do.
Yeah.
Deep strike people into combat.
Yeah. You can now reveal it as described above at the end of your subsequent movement phases. Any reserve units that are hiding and not on the battlefield at the start of the 4th battle round are slain. We've seen Games Workshop start to put this in quite a lot, so they don't want that 5th turn objective grab win the game.
Okay.
So great change in my opinion, but great. So and then perfect mimicry, the cover modifier adds 3 to the save rolls for that target this unit instead of 1. So they're now on a 3-up save.
Yeah,
You can add +2 to that.
that's true. I mean, they're still 1 wound.
Yeah, they are still 1 wound, and mortal wounds will go through them. You're right. And also, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a Dart Pipe is 6, it inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target.
Nah.
Chameleon Skinks are fine, but now
Is
when
I
that
don't
in
think
addition?
you'd ever take them.
the attack sequence ends.
Oh, no.
I don't know why you'd ever take them anymore.
The same. They are 90 points for 5, and you can take blocks of... I mean, they're good for threatening. A really good example of something that they're good for threatening would be Mortek Crawlers.
Yeah,
Like, potentially.
because you could get into combat, it wouldn't kill you, you wouldn't kill it, and you'd be there for the game.
Ish.
The Mortek Crawler's not bad in a fight.
It's not bad in a
Okay.
fight.
But I
So
guess...
they'd die.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
would, because they'd be out of cover by then. So,
Yeah.
Maybe get a Battleline Wizard. might be. You might be like, I really need something to go into. But
The-
you can
the
also just
only-
teleport in this army.
the
So
only
Yeah,
thing-
there's teleport in the army anyway, and
movement 16 units.
Yeah.
there's those which
I-
can fly, which can
The g-
run and do everything they
The-
want to do.
ability to teleport like not 9 was what they were good for.
Yeah.
And it's gone.
And
And I'm
now-
not saying that I don't think they're bad. Like if I read that in another book, I'd be like, that's a cool war scroll still.
Yeah.
But now I'm reading it, I'm like, there's a million better things I take.
Mm.
Like, what? How many points for a salamander?
80 points.
I'll have one of them.
Yeah.
I don't want those.
Yes. That's super fair.
Yeah.
But not
Done.
those salamanders because they look ugly.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'd take.
Good. Right. So that's the end of Skinks.
Should we go? Are we done? Twitch chat? Should we go home?
There's something in the chat. Honest Wargamer, you can make them leave the board during your turn 4 and then come back to the point of turn 5. Is that right for the comedians?
Oh, well, they can leave the board still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If this unit's on the battlefield at the end of your movement phase, you can remove it and say it's hiding as a reserve. So you can remove it. Thank you, Stephen OS. Great shout in the chat.
Yeah.
Put it
Okay,
out.
so you can put it on, bring it back turn 5.
Oh, somebody's asking me about the Engine of the Gods, which I haven't actually found, so I'm going to have to go back for that in a moment. I'm sorry. In fact, I'm such a terrible...
Oh, there's the shop.
There's the shop. So this is, if anyone's wondering how I do it, this is the process, very quick. I go here, and then whenever the pre-order date happens, you go on the shop, and all of the War Scrolls are then available, which is nice. So the Engine of the Gods, the thing that made Speckles fall in love with me. Yeah. At one point, you could have multiple turns.
Yeah, you could.
You could. How has it changed? It's got a skin keyword. It's got 12 wounds with a 4-up save. It moves 8. It's still a Stegodon.
Still can't shoot.
Still can't shoot. It's got its javelins, but it's got its massive horns, 2 attacks, 3s, Rend 1, same as a stick, doing 4 damage. And it's got its crushing stomps that potentially could do 4 damage. So it's okay in combat. But that's,
I love the fact that nothing has more than one rend. Stick, horns, teeth, one rend.
Rend 1. And then... so obviously it's got the skink keyword. So the model has a skink crew. So the armored crest, we talked about that before. If a monster's attacking it, +1 save. So now you've got the cosmic engine. This is the thing that we're all here for. At the start of your shooting phase, you can make 1 cosmic engine roll. So it happens at a different phase.
Okay.
Which is cool.
Shooting phase.
Shooting phase.
Okay.
So you can teleport it and do it. Because you do teleport it now at the end of the movement
But
phase.
you used to be able to teleport it, do it, teleport it.
Yeah.
Or you can run it and do whatever
Yeah.
this thing is. Yeah.
All of those things.
Yeah.
So roll 2d6 and look up the roll on the table. If there is a friendly slan within 12 inches of this model, you can roll 3d6 instead of 2d6. That simple. You just roll 2d6. It's not pick the highest or lowest. You just roll 2d6 or 3d6.
Nice.
Okay, but without a slan, you can't get an 18 anymore.
Exactly. Right, and then it starts with 2 to 3, bad news. And also, if he gets wounded,
It gets
you don't.
worse.
You don't. You still always just roll. So even
'cause
on
it
one,
used to
No,
get
it
less.
doesn't modify this roll.
yeah, doesn't
Good.
modify. So that's what the change. So 2 to 3 takes D3 mortal wounds.
Okay.
4 to 8 will heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly Seraphon unit wholly within 12 inches of this model.
Okay.
Which is great again
Yeah,
for
not bad.
certain
Yeah,
ones. Then you've got Bolt of Azure Energy. Pick 1 enemy unit within 24 inches.
D6 moves?
I know. No, this model and visible to it. Roll 1 dice, or roll 1 dice for each enemy within 12 inches of this model. On a 2+, it suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Okay,
it's
so that's
either
got worse.
D3 at 24.
Or within 12 every unit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, which is decent.
Every
You can teleport it.
every enemy
Teleport it.
unit.
Yeah. Every enemy unit within 12.
Okay, not every unit.
No, and each unit within 12 inches. Don't forget it's got a skin keyword, so just give it a 2-up save.
Yeah.
Wait till survive till the next turn and just have a great time. So that's Bolt of
But
Azure
not
Energy.
your own units.
Yeah, enemy
That's what I was
units.
trying to get out
Oh,
there.
sorry.
So
And then 13-17, you can set up 1 unit of 10 Saurus Warriors wholly within 12 inches of this model and more than 9 inches from enemy units and add it to your army.
didn't sell enough Saurus, did they, in the last book?
They're still not going to after this book. And then 18, time crawls to a halt around the Seraphon Warhost. For the rest of the turn, you can reroll charge rolls for friendly Seraphon units wholly within 24 inches of this model and double the attacks characteristic. So, reroll the charge rolls and double the attacks.
But that's
Nathan's just done the maths.
low chance now, though.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have that
Triple
engine in the
six.
guards.
Yeah.
You've got to have left it at the back of the board.
And it's
It's in the shooting phase,
In
so
the
you've done
shooting
all
phase.
of your stuff until that phase.
Yeah.
happens. But that one turn when you do engage with those Ripidactyls or those Skinks and you get double attacks, you're like, oh, lol.
Amazing. but you have left it.
Is it at the end of the shooting phase?
No, beginning of the shooting phase.
Double
At
attacks.
the start of your shooting phase.
So you just double all your shooting attacks.
But
And then double your combat attacks.
and then double your combat.
and that's board wide.
Board
still.
wide.
Okay. Because you've got to leave it at the back of the board.
So you've just set up your
You set up
your
your...
shooters, and then suddenly everything's dead, and you're like, oh,
Yeah. I mean, it's good.
it's all right.
It's a lot. It's not as good as it was.
No, nowhere
Sadly.
near. Nowhere near.
that's-
It's atrocious compared to what it was. But like, I mean, the heal was genuinely something to go for.
Yeah.
But what was good previously is you would roll 4 dice. You would and then
Remove one.
You would remove one, so you can manipulate what result you wanted. Now it's way more random.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and there's nothing like pro gamers like more than randomness. They're like, yay.
Yeah. So,
The heals, I guess.
Grobner, thanks for subscribing.
The only benefit is if it's sat at the back of the board, at least it's going to heal your 4 wound units if they're dying.
Sometimes,
Yeah, occasionally.
maybe if you roll it.
What am I healing on? 4 to 8.
4 to 8. So
That's
it's
probably
actually
going to happen the most.
well, if you don't have them near a slant.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're fighting now for Basiladon's space in the game. In
Yeah.
the army.
Yeah.
They're great.
you'd rather have the skink chief dude, and
And it's got the other things that the Stegodons have got.
Yeah.
So the engine is now with Veto in the engine.
Okay.
It now sucks.
how many points?
Great question. Sorry, boss.
6,412.
I'd like you to guess, please, while I try and find it.
240.
240.
No,
Two-
270. Was that the skink chief? Was 270?
Oh, I
Same
actually don't
as-
have the points for it.
Oh.
It just says EOTG blank.
Ch-
If anyone knows in the chat.
I'll call it out. I'll guess it.
Okay, go.
232. It's the way that you always get a
It's
triumph.
260. Thanks, Squarzy. 260.
You always get a triumph when it's 232.
Yeah, always. All right, so we've discussed Skinks. Big winners from there. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
No, what like which
Oh.
which did you like the sound of? Do you want to go Rippers Pterodons, or do you want to go Salamanders Razordons, or just want to go Skinks?
I'm just going to take all heroes.
Loads of heroes. I think the priests.
Oh.
and the
Wow.
Star priests.
Wow.
are
Can I just
doing
say
good.
thank you to Circon, who, by the way, sent me some really good advice this week on my stand-up desk.
Yeah.
Because Circon's a professional Twitch streamer.
Okay.
Much as I guess we are, to some degree.
Nathan? Me?
Yeah, but he has just raided with 488 people.
Wow.
So I just like to... James's, the blood just went out James's
What
face.
What game?
All games, whatever you like. I think he does tank stuff.
Why aren't they all in here?
Well, anyway, but
Send him in.
yeah. So if you guys have just joined us, we're the Honest Wargamer. I'm Rob. This is Nathan.
Hello.
And this is James.
Congratulations on your 488 person raid.
Yeah, that's very successful. We are talking about space dinosaurs that like to fight in a game called Warhammer. If
Yep.
any of you are
I'm
interested.
not sure they're dinosaurs though, really. They were lizards, more skinks.
At one point, they're now some of them are dinosaurs,
Okay.
and some of them are still thought demons.
Okay.
Your choice. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want real games where stuff moves, this isn't going to be that. You're going to be looking at some numbers with Nathan Prescott doing this a lot. Oh, no. But thanks for joining us, and also big love to Circon. Because, by the way, I've used my stand-up desk for the first day today. Side note, fantastic. Everyone should get a stand-up desk. My back doesn't hurt as much. I know that's a really rubbish thing to talk about, but
So adult.
it's really good for your back.
Here's a bunch of people talking about toy soldiers, and then you go and make it adult. I'm disappointed in you.
All right, so if you've just joined us, we've talked about all of the skinks, which are small dinosaurs.
Yep.
We're now about to talk about the largest dinosaurs, and some of them ride dinosaurs.
Yep.
This is true. So first up, do you want to do the Old Blood or the Scarvet?
Whichever one comes
Old
first.
blood.
Oh, there you go.
Straight in. So he's got 12 wounds, he's got a 4-up save.
Yeah.
So I want you to know he doesn't have the skink keyword, so he's going to just have... Oh, no, I think you can get the +1 save. You can get +1 save,
Against the shooting.
and also just a flat
And the
+1
Mystic
save.
Shield.
Yeah, the Mystic
Spell.
Shield is...
Yeah.
So you can still do that on the Saurus Warriors.
Mystic Shield 2018.
Yeah, 2020, we are in.
Yeah, but
You mean the
yeah,
throwback?
that's what it.
Yeah,
That's what it basically
Yeah,
is, right? Mystic
Hindsight.
Shield 2018.
Someone's asking, is it so like Dinoception? Basically, it's like Dinoception. There's a little picture. It's a dinosaur. You can see on the screen.
Yeah, you're pointing. They can't see where you're
They
pointing.
can see.
Okay,
Alright.
professional Twitch streaming.
But I was just so nervous now. There's so many people here. Even though I've streamed to thousands more, but I'm still nervous. Anyway,
Are you as interested as a raid?
what type of raid? Viking raid?
I don't know. I don't know what game they were playing.
I don't know either, but it's fine. I hope you're all okay. The dinos are ancestors of birds, not lizards, so I don't know.
Who's that?
I don't know. There are
I bet that's
actually-
James Hobbs.
If you actually want to look, there are actually some birds that we talked about earlier which triggered Nathan loads. It's called...
They're still
a-
dinosaurs.
Well, this is a dinosaur with wings. There's the little skink
I
priest
think
with
it's
wings.
a cape.
It's a cloak of feathers, mate. That's what that is. It looks fantastic.
He's Joseph.
And then, look at this little fella. That's a ripodactyl. Yeah?
He's
You're
a
gonna,
ripper.
you're gonna see a lot of those fucking dickheads if you play Warhammer. And also there's a pterodon. There you go. So we've
You
kind
see a load of those dickheads too?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
also good. Right, the Old Blood Nath.
Cool.
Like, high line, crap in combat. Yeah?
Okay.
So we'll move on. He's got 12 wounds. He moves 10 inches.
Yep.
He can do 5 attacks, but so he's got 2 attacks that do 2 damage, and he's got 3 attacks that potentially do 5 damage. So he could do 15 damage in combat.
He's got as little rend as a stick still.
He has only got red 1. There is actually ways to get that to hit roll down to 2s.
Okay.
Right? There's also another way to get him have plus attacks as well.
Okay.
Like on different war scrolls. But
Oh, his
that's
massive
good.
just does 5 damage.
He's quite scary.
yeah, they were playing the World of Tanks. That's what they were playing.
Oh.
Yeah, there are no tanks here. Kind of there's a tank.
There's no tanks.
Oh no, there is a tank. Fuck you guys. If you guys like tanks, have you ever wanted a dinosaur
With a laser
with a
crystal
laser
beam.
on it? He's literally he's a fantasy tank.
No,
He's got
okay.
the best armor save in the game.
I mean, there's a steam tank in another army, but
There
we
is
won't
actually
go
another
there.
army with a steam tank.
Yeah.
We should do just for Circon. We should
There we
do
go.
I'll see if I'll message him, see if he'll do a joint stream where we talk about the tanks of HSC. Anyway, right. So the Old Blood.
Yeah.
He's okay in combat. There is a way to get him, so he's reducing his damage down, and also, but this is more like the Saurus need all of the allegiance abilities. The Skinks,
Okay.
like, as we've just
Yeah.
talked
Skinks do
I mean,
themselves.
Combined with that -1 to save thing, if he goes into that, he's pretty scary.
Yeah, the 5 flat
Yeah.
damage is good on
Yeah,
3
yeah.
attacks.
Yeah, no, it honestly, yeah, and also the fact he can go down to 2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, if you got +1 to hit and then that.
So he'd be 3s
Yeah.
3s on the scary attack.
yes.
And you say you can get extra attacks as well.
You can get extra attacks as well.
Yeah.
So you can make it. And you can also get exploding attacks. We'll go through the command abilities real
Okay,
quick.
yeah.
So he's got add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with his Sunbolt Gauntlet, which he's got a Space Gauntlet with rend of 1. I'd just like to point out that a Space Gauntlet doing laser beams from his hand,
Yeah.
same armor. So if you guys are new and you don't know what it means, but rend is the armor penetration
Yep.
we use in the game. So you guys will have like Hellfire shells. I'm making this up. That will go through a tank's armor. We have rend, and in this situation, a bolt of sunlight from someone's fist is as powerful as a dinosaur's mouth.
It's like an
Yeah,
armor
it's-
penetrating round.
You know when you've
I've
got
played
your
World of
watch
Tanks.
and
There you
you're
go.
reflecting the sunlight in somebody's
It's like
eyes.
when you've got a watch, trying to burn bugs as a child.
You reflect the sunlight into his eyes and then
Or
Then it takes
Nathan
wounds.
showing his African childhood.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want to do? I was going to go outside and burn bugs.
it's just got a power fist. Let's be realistic. It's not as big as Gazgul's.
Anyway, so you can add +1 to the wound rolls if you target demons. You got Blood Frenzy. If any models are slain by wounds inflicted by the model's attacks, for the rest of the battle, the model can run and charge in the same turn.
Okay.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Not great. Then he's got Cold Ferocity, which is if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by the Celestine weapon by this model is 6, it scores 2 hits on the target instead of 1.
But just his hand.
Well, no, with his,
No,
he's got a
his-
spear.
His spear.
He's got a spear. He shoots with his fist.
I only want that with the mouth.
So he's got
Or-
exploding attacks like
got
the
exploding
Ripodactyls
Yeah.
had.
But only on a spear.
but only on a spear,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
isn't very good.
No rend,
Yeah.
1 damage.
Yeah. Then he's got pin down. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made with massive jaws if the target has a wounds characteristic or 7 or less. So if it's a little fella, he can crunch his mouth on it better, and he wounds on 3s, so he'll be wound on 2s. There are ways to make him hit on 2s. So hit on 2s, wound on 2s, rend 1, potentially doing
5 damage.
5 damage. There is actually ways to improve the rend on jaw attacks. So you genuinely can make Saurus do great combat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if you combine, so if you can improve the rend and combine that with the -1 to armor save, he'd go through stuff like
he would. The problem is
Mortek Guard even.
Yeah, he would, absolutely. The problem is he's just going to hit the screen because he doesn't fly. Unless you give him fly with the command ability, and then you make him charge the 3d6, and you throw him forward. That's the only way. But he's not going to survive there very long. I agree with you, he'll go through something, but he won't live there forever. Anyway, his command ability... he's also got Terror, which is subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of enemy units while they're within 3 inches of any friendly. So you can scare them. It does nothing. Wrath of the Seraphon, his command ability. Pick 1 friendly Saurus unit wholly within 18 inches of this model with his command ability. Until the end of that phase, you can add 1 to hit rolls. A unit cannot benefit from this command ability once. So obviously, he can give himself +1 to hit, which is great.
Or anything else. That's +1 to hit is great command ability.
It's great, yeah.
He's great. How many points is he then?
So the Saurus... Old Blood on Carnosaur is 250 points. He's not bad. If you wanted to make like a joke list where you stuck him down and slung him forward and had a laugh.
I'm just taking 8.
He's solid, lands. Isn't he?
Yeah, he's solid,
points,
6 lands done.
So many command points.
Some skicks. And they'll be like, what you doing? I'll be like, just playing the command point game. Got 40.
You just end on 40
how
command
many
points.
casts are you a turn today?
Don't care.
There ain't that many spells.
That's a lot. That's 18 spells to go. Right. Then the Scarvet on Carnosaur. Same thing. He's got a variety of different weapons he can take. Warblade, Warspear, Great Blade. They're all okay. They're all fine. You've got the Warblade and the Warspear don't have rend. However, I'd like to point out a Skink's pointy stick. Rend 1.
Important.
A Celestite Warblade.
Yep.
By a Saurus. Doesn't matter. You get the point. We're labouring the joke. Then he's got clawed forelimbs, which are the same as the Carnosaur ever was. So the massive jaws are still going to do 5 attacks. He's great. He's got all of the things that he had before, which is pin down. You're going to add +1 to hit. With
all the blood frenzy, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. +1 to, terror, blood frenzy. His command ability: pick 1 friendly Saurus unit holding within 18 inches until the end of that phase. Unmodified hit rolls for attack made with melee weapons by friendly Saurus unit is a 6. It scores 2 hits, so it's exploding 6s.
Okay.
So you can add +1 to hit and exploding 6s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how many points is he?
He's only 210 points.
It's a lot of points to get those 2 command abilities. Then.
Does his weapon also explode?
Yeah. Yes. But like naturally. I don't think it would explode twice.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
But so
he doesn't seem good enough.
But then his mount could explode as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. But really, what you're looking at that exploding 6s, I think, is the big thing. As when we get onto the other units. That you can do it on, because obviously we've got Saurus Guard and Temple Guard to talk about.
If you combine that also with the +1 to hit, there's loads of attacks, isn't it?
And then there's also ways to increase how many attacks there are and improve rend. So
and roll an 18.
Agreed. All right,
so pretty fighty then, aren't they?
Yeah, you can do amazing output and potentially even have really good rend from the Saurus element of the book. Problematically though, like you get loads of CP from the skink part. Like you get slans, obviously they generate some CP, but you also get, like, you have skinks, the skink wizards. They're wizards, they generate CP, and then they buff abilities, all affect skinks, and then you're like, okay. And also if you look, like those guys are movement 10, which is fine. You can make 1 unit charge 3d6, but the pterodons are 16.
Yeah.
Like,
and they're skinks.
Or the razordons and the salamanders have got 28 and 20 inches effective range.
Yeah.
So you can project power much better with the skink half of the book than you can with the Saurus end of the book, but you can hold objectives better with the Saurus end of the book.
Yeah.
So, like, kind of.
Do you want to just go kill someone?
Do you know, are there mount traits for these?
Huh?
Are there mount traits?
I haven't actually seen if there are any yet, so I should check. So Sunblood, he's great. If he's got exploding attacks on his weapon, which is fine, still only Rem 1, but his command ability of weakness, you can use command ability in the combat phase. If you do so, pick one enemy within 12 inches. Till the end of that phase, you can add one to wound rolls by friendly Saurus units. So that's pretty good because it's pick one enemy unit within 12 inches at the combat phase. So you could teleport this guy.
Yep.
So he's within that 12 and then just go +1 to wound, which is cool.
So it'll just be 2s and 2s for your whole army.
Yeah. 2s
so
and 2s.
Basically, it's Big War again.
Big War again. But you do have to spend... So the Sunblood's pretty... the Sunblood is 130 points. He's brilliant in combat as well. He's got 7 wounds with a 3-up save. So he's just... there are no mount traits. Oh my god, that's sad.
He's also a really cool model.
He's an incredible model. Yeah. The
like
White
model.
Lizard. Yeah, he's really cool.
He's like the best model in that whole range.
And also, he's got... Whoa. Teto Echo's the best model in that range. What? Nathan, what's your favourite... Twitch chat and Nathan, what's your favourite model in the range?
I think he's just so different.
The Stumbler, thanks for subscribing. He says, I just want to hear my name on the podcast. Love the show.
There you go. Subscribe every month. Oh, look, I've completely thrown Rob off completely.
Mine's Teto. Saurus Knights, Robert Extreme. I hate you. I hate you.
Just ban him.
Male's like salamanders. I also hate you.
Ban him, Joe.
Banned. Dark Matter says lol Knights. Also banned. Mr. T says the Troglodon. Troglodon's a beautiful model.
It's just rubbish.
Yeah. Scrunny Hugh says the Slan because he has 6.
Yeah.
Look at James. James is genuinely impressed.
Well done. Promote him.
You're promoted, Scrunny. Starseer, Lord Croak, agreed. Skink Oracle on Troglodon is a beautiful model and rarely seen.
I think I'm not saying that the range is ugly because I think most of the range is amazing. I just every time I see that model, I'm like, it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's so cool, and I think it's like lots of the stuff looks quite similar. Like Toto Echo's still kind of sat in a Slan throne. It's kind of similar.
He's so different. He's got like a celestial orb he's looking into.
But every time you see
got
this,
a very sharp stick.
Doesn't look anything like a Saurus. Just looks great.
Okay. Saurus Knights for the win says the Saurus Knight in the chat. Also banned. Wolfie Scar says Sunblood, so he agrees with you. Jimmy 1080 loves the Stegodon, and Nikos loves the OOP Skinks. Nikos' army is like...
What, the ones with the bows? Because I think I've got some of those in a box you could have.
He would
Nikos.
love them. Yeah.
I'll have a dig.
The Dreadsaurian is also my favourite. He's great.
Oh, I own one of those. I think I've got one of these.
Sunblood?
Yeah.
Are you going to buy 24 Pterodons?
No.
Boring. By not boring, I mean the opposite of boring, because it would be boring to play that. The old meta Slan had a Temple Guard. Knight got a good buff finally.
Oh, the carried one. There was a carried one, wasn't there?
There was.
I owned that at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, Mazda Mundi.
Oh, Guernsey's made a great point. The Dreadsaurian should have been able to garrison Skinks. Fuck. Let's get Guernsey on the rules team, however we get him. And whoever's on the rule team, let's get them off the rules team. Okay, so I'm trying to make this fast. So you got Eternity Warden, 7 wounds, 3-up save.
Yep.
Yeah, decent. He takes on damage, so he's got a DPR 4 Slan. Roll dice for you. Allocate a wound or a mortal wound to Slan. On a 2+, you must allocate that wound or mortal wound to the Slan instead. Fantastic.
Yep.
That's its role in the army. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that his command ability?
No, that's just his ability, Selfless Protectors. Yeah. His command ability is you pick one friendly Saurus Guard unit wholly within 18, and until the end of that phase, you can add one to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit. Now, they already hit on 3s, so making that command ability is not superfluous, but like fine. You could obviously make them have exploding attacks when we talk about them as well. So
that's the Saurus Guard, not the Saurus Warriors.
Not the Saurus Guard, just the Saurus Warriors. Whereas everything else so far has been keyword, because he was the old captain of the Saurus Guard back in the day. So now, the second ugliest model in Warhammer, the Saurus Scar Veteran on Cold One.
I still don't understand how there's cold ones in 2 armies and they don't look so indifferent. It's untrue.
I actually think I think I've cracked this. I reckon the guy that sculpted the cold. So you guys drink, I don't drink, but you'll be able to give me the version of this.
Yeah.
I reckon it's beer goggles. I reckon he did the Cold One Knights, for Dark Elves, which are beautiful.
Yep.
Then he got fucking hammered.
Yep.
And then he painted the Saurus Knights. It's a bit like doing your homework at the end of the day. He's like, that's brilliant, that! That's good! Oh, beautiful! Look at how gorgeous!
Or he did it the other way around and he did those when he was drunk and he's never drank since. And the Dark Elf Cold Ones are the result of that. They're so ugly.
Yeah, just the worst.
There was a point where I was going to do a Dark Dark Elf army, all on cold ones. I was like, quite expensive. Could buy the Saurus ones. Looked at them and went, oh, I'm not.
Someone
doing
the other day said to me, "They're like, I like Saurus Knights because I'm going to be able to buy the Dark Elf versions and use them." And I was like, no, I don't want you to even though they're prettier, I just don't want anyone to use them. I know there's a guy in the chat who's a very lovely man, Jimmy. He's fantastic with Saurus Knight, and he loves them. He's got 100, and I hate him because they're just. I'm never getting over it ever. Also, if they're the most competitive thing in this book, I quit. Take that to the Shot Games Workshop. Yeah, fucking write those rules. Anyway, he's got 7 wounds, he's got a 4-up save.
The book's getting delayed. A week later, Saurus Knights, 42 attacks, 42 attacks, 42 attacks, hits on ones, wounds on ones, -6, 7 damage. Done.
Liam Jordan says, really, James, why do Labradors and Huskies look different? It's just different breeds of cold ones.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they're so ugly. I mean, you're a lizard, you've been alive all your life. Why would you pick that one?
The Dark Elf, so they're not called that, they're called Order Serpentis.
I don't care.
Cold ones are amazing sculpts, and that's what I have all of my Cold One Knights, which I do have some of. They're on there. Because I could just, anyway. Right.
Okay, back to the book, sorry.
Back to the book, sorry.
I'm so distracted.
Yeah. So in combat, they got the Celestine. This is the general, so it doesn't matter what he's got. Like, he's fine. He's got a Rend 1 on his sword, obviously.
But not on the monster.
And if you've noticed also that Fearsome Jaws bite. So Fearsome Jaws on the actual Saurus, Snapping Jaws on the cold one. That's important. Anything that says Jaws, important for later. Okay. If the unmodified hit roll for attack with a weapon is whatever. So his command ability is... You can use command ability in the combat phase, pick one friendly Saurus unit wholly within 18 inches of a friendly model with this command ability till the end of that phase. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon, Saurus is 6, that attack scores 2 hits instead of 1. So it's got exploding 6s.
Okay.
But it's a cheaper way of getting exploding 6s.
Then the guy on the big thing.
Exactly. Because he is running at...
90 points. I'm guessing.
Honestly, someone didn't write the points in, and I really respect that because I don't want to ever see this model in my life. Wait, hold on.
Too ugly to point.
Scarvet on Cold One is 110 points, which is so cheap.
But also, how's he more than the guy on Pterodon that does so much?
I don't know.
How is he more than the guy on Ripidactyl?
He also moves half the speed
more.
of the Pterodon. He's half the speed of the Pterodon.
I think whoever pointed this book was drunk because I can't work out the fathom or the list.
The Saurus Knight says these cold ones need love like the ugly ducklings so that they may get new models.
They're not as pretty
they
as
can
Marauders.
become the beautiful swans.
No, Marauders are better. Said it. Fight me.
Parr, by the way, painted 30 Cold One Knights, and he said that he almost lost all of his hobby mojo.
It's all right. You've got a sword now.
Right, yeah.
Careful where you stick it.
So Saurus Old Blood. So he's just on foot. His command ability is +1 to hit. He's got a 3-up save and 7 wounds, so he's genuinely pretty decent. So the Old Blood is only 110 points. He's not very fast, 5 inches, but like his
+1 to hit's great. What's the range of it? Sorry?
Wholly within 18 inches.
And is it only Saurus? Yeah,
and it's only Saurus. Yeah, but decent. And if you wanted like, for instance, let's say you wanted 3 Bastiladons, you still wanted a load of Saurus because they're going to be your battle line, and you wanted to put some Saurus Old Blood behind it, but like, well, +1 to hit.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
There's some great models in here that I haven't seen in about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, Seraphon just have dropped off in popularity more and more over time as more and more books come out. So now we're going to see a lot of people who sat on Seraphon armies. You're going to see a lot of these.
And they're already going to have them. So we're going to see these like tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking tons. Saurus Warriors, they've now got a 4-up save, which is badass. They've lost their shield ability, which used to ignore Rend of 1.
Yep.
But doesn't matter because if you wanted to, you could take a block of 40 of these and give them +1 save.
Yeah.
So 3-up save Saurus is great. They got a wound each. Their bravery 8. We'll come to that in a bit. And they move 5 inches. You can reroll charge rolls if they've got a drummer, and they get an extra attack. And then they can add one to the attack characteristic of their clubs or spears if it's got 15 or more models. And you can take them in blocks of 40.
And how many points?
So you get Saurus Warriors. You get 10 for 90 points, or you get 40 for 320 points. Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Which is obviously fantastic.
So that's a discount then.
I'm just confusing myself because the icon bearer is called a Star Drake icon bearer. And I forgot that part of the lore.
Sircon, I know you've just joined us, but if you go back, as much as some of this will sound great and some of it is genuinely great, the stuff we talked about before was dumb good.
Yeah,
Like-
by skinks.
These are the same as hard boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can these
For
are
those
these,
points, it's exactly
but
the same.
you can't add +1 damage, which you could do to hard boys.
No, but
And your hard boys are going to die to skinks.
you can give these +1 to hit and +1 exploding sixes.
Exploding sixes.
And
You
they've
can
got
actually
extra attacks
Yeah, you can
Anyway.
also later on. We haven't even got to sub factions
Yeah.
yet, but you can do a bunch more stuff.
and extra rend. So yeah, they're probably as good, if in some cases better than hard boys. I'd say.
They're genuinely really good. Circon's MVP of the book is Salamanders. Salamanders are decent. Don't get me wrong; they're really strong. I like Razordons personally. I just always liked it because they'll
6
go.
lands.
So yeah, the Saurus Warriors are
Gonna do
amazing. They're also your battle line, and as like we've talked about before,
Yeah,
they're
good.
cheap. They're super cheap, and you're gonna get fucking tons of them. But they're decent as fuck. They're
Yeah.
really good. But like we talked about, maybe you would just have I don't know. The Saurus are good. Don't get me wrong. Saurus Guard. They've now got 2 wounds apiece. And they've got a 4-up save.
And I bet everyone's put them in the bin.
I've got 30 ready to go. So yeah, 2 wounds apiece, which is obviously great. You can only take them in blocks of 20, and they come in blocks of 5.
Okay, right.
So you can
up
end
to
up
20.
up to 20. So 5 to 20.
The Saurus come in 10s.
Yeah, Saurus come in 10s. And the Saurus Guard are 100 points for 5,
Okay.
but they're 10 wounds.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the same.
So the same. They've got 2 attacks on their polearm, which is 3s, rend 1 and 1 damage. You can add an attack. You could also make them have exploding 6s, and you can also have +1 to hit. So they can
And
be,
improve the rend.
and you can improve the rend as well. So you can be super killy with those guys. They can reroll their charges just on their war scroll, which is really decent with the war drummer, especially as they only move 5, which is really bad. Which is why, again, I don't think you're going to see Saurus generally because they're too slow. Like Saurus are all pretty slow, and you can teleport a unit, but then they're outside of all of their bonuses. Really, I don't know. Anyway, you can roll a dice before you can allocate a wound or a mortal wound to a friendly slan while it's within 3 inches of any friendly units with this ability. On a 2+, you must allocate that wound or mortal wound to a friendly unit with this ability that is within 3 inches of the slan instead of that slan. So you can effectively make a slan immortal.
Yeah, well, you could just bubble wrap Croak. So he'd be a 3-up, a 4-up, a 6-up by an Astrolith, a 4-up,
A
2+.
a 2-up, and then one of those takes a wound instead.
Yeah. So Croak won't die.
I'm going to have some of those with
Yeah,
my
you could
6
take
slan.
10 of those, 200 points to make your slan unkillable.
all
basically.
6 slans, bubble wrap by 5 Saurus Guard. Done.
So they're really, really good for what they do, but they're slow. So do you want the slan going forward? They could just run. And they're great in a fight. They're
Yeah.
great in a fight.
I mean, at the end of the day, hard boys are only movement 4, so they're the same sort of thing. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, but there's not a great hand of Gork in this one.
No, but they just teleport. They don't need to cast a spell, do they?
No, that's true. It's even better. This next, they're really good. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. And there's ways to also improve them. You can have them hitting on 2s if you want to later.
I think the Warriors were good anyway. as
Yeah,
well,
I think
so-
they were. Can you claim an objective while garrisoned, Nathan? No.
Yes.
No,
No,
the
'cause it's-
model that is the garrison can claim it.
No.
Like this, so the Sky Vessel.
The Sky Vessels can't, but it specifically says that on their war scroll. But a normal garrison model can.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's the answer. Thank you very much. Circon doesn't like summoning, he's saying in the chat, but he's super happy. We'll get to the bit when we separate these books out. You know what makes Saurus faster? Moving them on other dinosaurs, mounting them on other dinosaurs.
No,
Yeah, like
they're
a
okay.
knight.
Yeah. Right, so the Saurus Knights.
Skip it.
Fucking hell. 2 wounds apiece. They've got a 4-up save now, which is good. They still... Can I talk about something that Games Workshop did do? So they made... let me go back to it. This Saurus Scar Veteran on Cold One used to be, for no reason, slower than the other Saurus Knights. Yeah? But now... They all move 8 inches, which is way too slow for cavalry, but fine. They've got a 4-up save, 2 wounds apiece. They've got 2 attacks on their blades, or their war spear's got 2 attacks. So they've gone up an attack. Hit on 4s, win on 3s, 0 rend, which is obviously dumb. And then they've got the snapping jaws of the cold one, 3s and 4s. They can reroll their charges from the War Drummer. So the whole army can basically reroll their charges, these parts, which is great. Add one to the attacks characteristic of the Alpha, but add one to the damage characteristic of this unit's Celestine War Spears if this unit made a charge move in the same turn.
Okay.
So +1 damage. But still terrible.
It's alright, when you put them in Fire Lance, they'll be fine.
Huh?
When you put them in a Fire Lance, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing else has gone from the book. We'll keep the War Battalions.
MJ Pegasus says, sorry if this has already been covered. I could be here for the show, but it already sounds like there are loads of build options. There are. We haven't even...
Yeah, 6 lands.
Yeah.
That's all you need. 6 lands. Go away, buy them.
So they're already great builds, right? There's like 24 Rippers, 24 Pterodons. There's multiple Razordons, multiple Salamanders, multiple 4 Bastiladons is also great.
Yeah.
You can have Skink Hordes, you can have Saurus Hordes. So there's loads of great options, and you can mix and match. Most of it works with itself to a degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great book.
Yeah,
And you wouldn't really take 6 lands,
I
don't you?
definitely think the Skink Heroes are great.
Incredible.
Everything else is
The
really
points on those were crazy cheap too.
So Spleen Thief and Puck Jack want me to point out that you can get +7 attacks when you hit with the sub-factions on these Saurus Knights.
good. Wow.
Yeah.
But they're still ugly.
They are. But 9 attacks, hitting on 4s, which you can have pluses to hit. Explode on 6s. They're to wound is a 3+. If you do take them in the Fire Lance Star Host, any 6s to hit are going to cause mortal wounds.
Does it still exist?
It still exists. Anyway.
Have you just sold yourself Saurus Knights?
No, because what they'll do is they'll hit a 10-point screen, yeah, because they're movement 8, and even charging 3d6, they're not fast enough, and then fucking 40 skinks are just going to beat the shit out of them. In my opinion.
I'm excited to see a Seraphon on Seraphon top table for the first time in 5 years.
Oh, it's going to be great. Unfortunately, one of my favourite units in the game, but they've lost out massively, are the Kroxigor. They don't have the skink keyword anymore. They're just 4 wounds. They've just got a 4-up save. They still hit on 4s, which was their massive issue before. They used to hit on 4s. 4 attacks each from the guys without the Moonstone. Wound on 3s. Rend 1, so they gained Rend. Fantastic. And they do damage 2. Now, the Moonhammer is awesome. You make an attack for every model within 2 inches with the sweeping blows. So you normally can have 1 in every 3 can have a Moonhammer. And then, so you roll that many dice, hitting on 4s, wound on 3s, rend 1, doing 2 damage. So
as much rend as a stick.
Yeah, no, they don't have Saurus keyword, don't have skink keyword.
Yeah, so no +1 to hit. Was there a thing if they're next to you, skinks? What happens?
Nothing. Oh, sorry. The battle synergy, you add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit while it's wholly within 6 inches of skinks.
So then they will be hitting on 3s.
Yeah, they can be hitting on 3s, which is cool. With 4 attacks each.
How many points are there?
The Kroxigor are... So the Kroxigor are 140 points like they used to be for 3. And then you can take them in units. You can take them up to 12. If you take them in 12, that's going to be 560 points. And I grant you, they can also have that +1 save cast on them. Yeah. So they can be a 3-up save. But
I think it's that same thing though, isn't it? They're good. In another book, you'd look at that war scroll, you go, oh, that's good. But there's just so many better things for 140 points.
Potentially. I mean, the Moonhammer is genuinely decent for clearing hordes, if you wanted to, which is, I used to run 9 of these, and the Moonhammer was specifically for that horde clearing. You just put them in a 3, stick them in the middle, and then everything else was ablative wounds. That was their role in the army. And it's arguable.
But 4 attacks doing 2 damage is pretty good as well, really, on the rest of the dudes. Especially if you can get them hitting on 3s.
Yeah, compare them to gluttons. I'm being told. So they're similar-ish to gluttons. They got better save,
better rend,
and
you've got ways to make their saves decrease, so they effectively rend 2 from that 18-inch spell.
Improve the rend of the save of these guys, so they could be on a 3-up save.
Well, make them fly.
Yeah, they're honest. Yeah, like they aren't terrible, but they don't synergize. They synergize with some of the key elements of the book. But they're kind of on their own, which really does give me hope that eventually there's going to be like a Kroxigor edition, like a Kroxigor hero, some new Kroxigor. Then I'm like, all right, this is good. But yeah, I reckon they're okay, but they're not. Like everything else just stands out better, right? Especially as I want to run salamanders. Anyway, There we go. So that is just the War Scrolls.
Okay.
Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay.
That was quite a lot of War Scrolls.
It was. I'm sorry about that. How are we doing?
No, it's not your fault.
Okay, yeah. All right. We'll blast through this next bit now. Yeah, because it's not really tons left to talk about. So now we'll actually just talk about the allegiance abilities.
Yep.
So you basically start off with, you can choose one of 3 different things.
Yeah.
You can choose Great Drake. So it used to be a constellation thing. So this is the key allegiance ability.
Yeah.
Great Drake, start the combat phase, pick a Seraphon hero and add one to attack their attacks characteristic. Pretty cool if you want to do it with the Carnosaur or something.
Yep.
Yeah. You got Hunter Steed, +1 to run and charge rolls. Army, all the army.
Okay.
Get +1,
That's
which
great.
I think is going to be the
Yeah.
one people take. Apart from Sage's Staff, pick 1 Seraphon Wizard, +1 to casting, unbinding, or dispelling. Yeah?
Yeah.
So 1 Seraphon Wizard is going to get another +1 to cast. They've all got their own +1 to cast.
And
An
they've
Astroloth Banner is going to be +3 to cast.
And so you could give...
give that to Croak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can give that to
Because
Chris.
it's not even an artifact.
Yeah,
So he's got 4 spells, so he'll be +2 then.
+2. Next to an Astroloth Banner, +3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So +3 to cast in and unbind in
And dispelling.
And dispelling.
and global.
Yeah. Fucking Frog's back,
And,
baby.
and some extra range.
Fucking Frog is back, yeah.
Dead frog.
Dead
Get
Frog.
those robes off.
So yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So now this is where and also the endless spells in the Seraphon book are bound,
Yeah.
right? So do we get what that means, like, or do we need to explain?
Yeah, because when they're bound, only Seraphon move them.
Yes,
Yeah, but they're a different set of points then.
yes. So they cast their own spells, their own bound spells. Now, unfortunately, Games Workshop haven't worked out that you can buy a bound spell, and you can also buy, because they're wizards, a spell.
Yeah.
So you could cast a bound Bellwind Vortex and put another Bellwind Vortex on top.
Okay, can you put a Bellwind Vortex on top of a bow?
Unfortunately, yes. But hopefully that gets FAQ'd, so
Okay.
that's fine, right? But currently you could do a bound version of a spell and an unbound version of a spell.
Okay, so you could have Geminids ×2.
Yes,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I think it's rules as written. I think that works at the minute. But
Okay.
again, that's one of those janky things that I'm really hoping they just fix.
Well,
in
it
the
makes no
FAQ.
sense.
Yeah, it would make no sense, and hopefully it
Yeah.
goes through.
People that are relying on that are
Yeah.
going to be
I'm just
in for
pointing
a
it
sad
out.
time.
Just
Yeah.
pointing out that I wouldn't let that stick if you were there. And then double cogs with Gap Trek. Yeah, we're being pointed out in the chat. So
No.
Just, the disappointment on everyone else is here.
Just no.
Yeah.
Also, I still hate cogs
Oh really? Why?
because it just buffs everyone.
Yeah, I never would take cogs. Like
I get that. I get the +1 spell cogs.
Yeah. Slow it down,
The
not
other
speed it
one,
up.
for all the time when it was really popular and I was still playing Stormcast back in the day, every time someone would be like, cast cogs, I'd be like, cool, I've teleported in. I need a 9. Oh no, cogs. 7. Thanks.
It's really good.
Great
Right.
spell.
So we get the bound spells,
Yep.
and it means that you cast a spell, then only the Seraphon can move those bound spells. Sweet. There's actually some really cool spells that they can do Spell Lord to affect that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Right. So then you basically pick. So there are 2 sub-factions.
Yep.
So you pick one of those 2, and then in those sub-factions are 2 more sub-factions.
Okay.
So there are sub-factions and sub-sub-factions.
Okay.
Okay, so you can either have real lizards built in a temple who are blood and, well, whatever, skin.
Blood and flesh.
Yeah, or you can have magic ones. Which would you like to choose first?
Magic ones.
Perfect.
I'm answering for Nathan because I know what he wants. Or do we want the disappointing ones first? No, we'll have the good ones first. We'll nap if the other ones are boring.
So the Starborn, Dracothian's Tail, and Fangs of Sotek. So those are the 2 sub-factions.
Okay.
Starborn.
But
yeah.
if you are Starborn, you have the special rule Unfeeling. So all of your because if you notice, some of the bravery wasn't 10 now
Yeah.
across the board. So they're now all bravery 10.
Okay.
So
So
cool.
they're not scared.
No. Also, this is the one where you can do summoning in. So Celestial you can't do it in the other one. So in this, it's Celestial Conjuration.
Unless you have an engine of the gods.
Unless you do an Engine of the Gods. Yeah. So Celestial Conjuration, you get D3 at the start of the hero phase.
Yep.
Yeah. D3 if you have an Astroloth banner. And then D3 from a Slan, but then he has to give up a spell.
Okay, from Aslan. So could you do that 6 times with 6
I
land?
honestly don't know at the minute. I
Okay,
haven't
cool.
read that bit.
Just intrigued.
Yeah, maybe someone in the chat can help us out. We call them Star Boys and Rage Boys. I'll go with that. So the Star Boys,
Yep.
right? So Bravery 10, They can get points for summoning, and I've got some of the costs for the summoning, and I'll go find that in a minute. But like, you know, it's not. There's nothing. There's no. It's not like depravity points. You know, it's decent.
So you got 3 or 4 D3 points.
Yeah, per turn. Yeah, but then this is what also gives you access to Lords of Space and Time, which is the teleport. So you teleport at the end of the movement phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So only Star Boys can teleport.
Only Star Boys can teleport. Rage Boys, firepower. We'll talk
Okay.
about. Yeah. Do you want to know what Rage Boys do before we move on to
fine.
sub-factions?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Rage Boys are cold-blooded, so they ignore bravery modifiers. Yeah?
Wow.
Okay.
That's probably better than being bravery 10.
Yes, potentially.
I don't know. Some of them were like 6 and 5, though, right?
Yeah, they're pretty... Some of them could be fairly low.
Yeah, but you'd lose 4 models, then it's you at the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're ignoring that modifier as well, or are we just ignoring the +/-1 from our banner?
Yeah. Well, hold on. You by the way, just going back to it, you only get D3 from one slan. One slan can get D3.
And it doesn't repeat and repeat?
No.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Just checking.
So Nate seems to be impressed with that. Ignore bravery modifiers. Not sure 100%, but that's fine. Predatory fighters, though, which you'll like, is all jaw weapons, right? Which includes a whole bunch of stuff, like Ripidactyls. Yeah, they've got a jaw or weapon, right? +1 attack on jaw weapons. Anything with the word jaw in, got +1 attack.
Okay.
Really good. So Saurus have all got a jaw attack. Obviously, the Rippers have got a jaw attack.
Those crazy Carnosaur 5 damage bites.
Yeah.
That's a jaw.
Jaw attack.
The Salamanders had one.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Razordons?
Yeah.
Yes. Razordons had clubs.
And tail. Yeah, the hails.
Hold on. So Ripidactyls have tearing jaws. So that's a jaw attack. Pterodon Chief has got razor sharp jaws. So Pterodons have got it as well. And then spiked tail on the Razordons, and it's burning jaws. So yeah, you get +1 on the salamanders. Yeah. And then you've got primeval domain. Ignore negative terrain features within your own territory. So which is shit. So
Never.
It's fine.
No chance ever.
And then you've got scaly skin, -1 from damage on attacks that target a unit to a minimum of 1. So if you're doing 2 damage, you're now doing 1 damage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's really good.
And that's so that would work on skinks.
That's just
your slan.
ability.
So there's a lot of rules. Like, loads of people bickering at the minute about like specifically what that means. For instance, like mortal wound output and whatnot.
Bastillodon.
Yeah.
Stegodon.
Anything. Pick a thing.
Full wound skig priest.
Yep.
Amazing.
-1 damage from attacks that target a unit.
So when it's 1 damage, it'd just be no damage.
To a minimum of 1.
They
wrote
you didn't read me that
they
bit.
Wrote it in. How dare they?
That'd be great. If they'd have missed that, everyone would have brought them. And everyone would have been playing 1 turn while they tried to work out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, and that pisses off war chanters loads, obviously, which is great. So
it just cancels out their buff.
Yeah. So obviously that's fantastic.
Yeah.
-1.
Well, at that point, Saurus win that.
You're reading this from if you've noticed typos or massive cock-ups, let me know if you get updated. Thank you, Stephen AOS. I will. If you wrote this Google document, I fucking love you. I'm going to DM me. We're going to talk prizes. I don't know what I'm going to send you, but I know I don't have much. You can have.
We'll just
something, James.
You can have Rob.
We'll get you. We'll send you a free T-shirt.
Okay.
I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'll send you a free T-shirt with a slan on. That's from me, Stephen AOS.
I think it's a magic frog.
Oh yes, shit. It's a magic frog.
We don't have any T-shirts with anything else on.
All right, so now the sub factions.
Yeah.
Which would you like to do? Magic Boys or Rage Boys?
Do the rage ones first.
Okay, because you like Rage ones now, don't you?
I just want to hit things now.
Okay, so
I'm angry.
You got
I'm a teenager.
You got Cottle's Claws or the Thunder Lizards.
Oh, Thunder Lizards. Forget the other ones.
Okay, Prime War Beast. So
Yep.
this is the command trait that you have to take, obviously.
Yep.
+1 attack on the General's Mount. Great on a Carnosaur character.
Yep.
Yeah. But also good on Stegodon,
Yep.
Skink Chief. Command ability, Trove of the Old Technology. At the end of the shooting phase, if you're wholly within 18 inches, a Bastillodon can shoot again, right?
Pew, pew, pew.
Or an Engine of the God can Cosmic Engine again.
Nah.
Now, I haven't read the actual rule right now.
Yep.
But as far as I understand it, if you have the CP, each one of those Bastiladons can fire again.
Wow.
Pew pew pew.
So I'm just going to get that double checked by the chat. But before we move on, which do you remember when we wrote that we could do 36 shots for 880 points? We're now going to do 72 shots for 880 points. No, which is great.
Shooting's back then.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 29 inch range is your effective range.
Oh, that's.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So
I mean,
small.
unless you of course have some sort of way to make them run and shoot, like a
But
skink.
can't teleport.
Yeah. 72 shots. There we go. Correct. Thank you very much, guys, in the chat. Luckily, according to Liam Jordan, they won't have CP to spend on this.
Yeah, obviously. There's no way of getting it.
So, yeah, 4 Bastiladons, 72 shots on a 1-up save. Don't forget, they're reducing damage that comes in by 1. You forgot that bit.
Shame.
Shame. Now, the artifact... The artifact is the Fusel of Conflagration. In the shooting phase, unit within 12 inches. So you pick a unit within 12 inches on a 1, the artifact lost on 2 to 3 nothing, 4 to 5 D3 mortal wounds, and on a 6 you take D6 mortal wounds. So it's a kind of cool ability, probably once per game. And then ability, so this is the ability that being in the sub-faction gets you.
Okay.
Yeah? You add 2 to the wounds of monsters.
Okay.
So those
Bastiladons that are
got
getting everything
12
down
wounds.
by a wound
Yeah.
goes up to 12 with its 1-up save.
Yeah. Oh, but it's apparently once per shooting phase, by the way, the Fusel of Conflagration. So you can do that every time.
Oh,
Yeah. It's a plasma pistol on AOS.
pleasant.
Yeah, nice. The Fusel of Conflagration. Nice. So, +2 to... Ethan, how are you feeling about +2 to wound on those Bastiladons in the Thunder Lizards?
Yeah, pretty tough, aren't they?
I honestly want to, come dressed as, like hair metal. Like, I want to come up...
As a thunder lizard.
Yeah, I want to dress up in, full lycra.
Snakeskin.
The whole thing, long hair, glasses. It'd be like, I'm here for the Thunder Lizards, baby. So that's the Thunder Lizards. The other ones are Kotor's Claw, which is command trait on a Saurus, dominant predator 4+. You get a command point after spending it on a Saurus unit. So if you spend a command point on a Saurus unit, you're on 4+, you get to keep the command point. Command ability, Control Fury, start the combat phase, pick a Saurus unit wholly within 24 inches of a Saurus hero, you give it Savagery Incarnate ability. The ability Savagery Incarnate is +1 to hit for Sauruses if they charge.
Okay.
So +1 to hit if you charged, not forgetting you've got
Plus
an extra
one to
attack
hit
on...
as well.
+1 to hit from
somewhere
before,
else.
exploding attacks on 6s, and you also have got an extra attack on your jaw attacks. So loads. And then the artifact is the Bearer's Melee Weapon, unmodified hits of a 6 do 2 mortal wounds. So that's the Saurus build. It's
Yeah.
Kotor's Claw is what you're doing. The Thunder Lizards is obviously you're just taking 4 Bastiladons.
Yeah.
So Thunder Lizards, 4 Bastiladons, Kotor's Claw, loads of Saurus.
Just Bastiladons.
Yeah, it's very hard. Let's go back to the Spacey Boys.
Yep.
I don't know is that what we called them? Rage
Space Boys?
I mean,
Boys,
even
Space Boys.
the Stegodons shooting.
With +2 to wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And extra shooting.
And it was good range.
You could also roll again on the Engine of the Gods.
No.
Nah.
Because you got the
Bored of that now.
Star Streak
Star
Bows, or else. So when do you shoot in the hero phase?
Yeah.
Yeah, even the sun blowers.
Actually, what happens
Yeah.
if you rolled 18 on the Engine of the Gods? Roll again. Roll another 18.
They haven't wrote that in. So the answer would be double.
Yeah.
To quote
So-
Nathan Prescott.
So do I double?
Double.
Do
You
I double first
and then you
double
double.
it again?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Maybe I'll play that build.
So what's a good Salamander alternate model? Mace Miniatures do one. Could someone please link it in the chat? Because honestly, never the Salamanders. Right, so Star Boys,
Yeah.
that's what they're called, not the Rage Boys. The Rage Boys, though, by the way, are the Shooty Boys, but whatever. You got Dracothian's Tail, command trait on a Slan, Ancient Knowledge, +1 extra spell from the Law, reroll casting and unbinding and dispelling. Yeah.
Reroll.
Yeah.
Reroll 1 casting and
Okay, I was
unbinding
going
and
to say
dispelling.
all.
Only one.
Okay.
Artifact, God
Once
Beast
per
Tendon.
turn. Or
Reroll
once-
once per turn.
Or per hero phase or something.
Yeah. Then the artifact, the God Beast Pendant, when you have slain it, you've slain a model, you've slain a Slan, or whoever's got the artifact, on a 4+,
Comes back.
fully healed.
Cool.
which is great.
It's good when you got 6.
Thank you very much, everyone in the chat, for sending some salamanders. Make salamanders from cold ones, says Nikos. Sadly, double is a 1 in 4,656 chance. James, it sounds like that's the army you're going to play.
Joe, give me the odds.
Don't give me the odds. Just tell me I can't.
I'm just going to roll dice. Got 32 mortal wounds
apparently
once.
Avatar of War have also got some nice ones as
there
well
you
that
go.
are in the chat. Anyway, I'll check that later. Because we're getting on. I'm
Doing
so
your
sorry.
shopping, are you?
Yeah, for 12. Again, miniatures make great ones, and if they want to send me some salamander models. Anyway.
Should we just keep tweeting that?
Yeah,
Everyone just keep tweeting that.
Nathan also is building part of their warehouse.
Oh, even better.
You could just mention it to it. Anyway.
Just yeah.
Right, so that's obviously good if you want to do more magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Their ability appear on command at the end of the movement phase. Set up 1 reserve unit for each on the board, wholly within 18 inches of the slan.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can put units off the board.
Oh,
And
you
then
can have
bring
half your units off the board
Yeah.
then.
And then you've got Starborn. You've got Fangs of Sotek. I don't think you can set up more than that off the board. So then the other sub-faction
Yeah.
is Fangs of Sotek. The command trait is on Saurus, Old and G. General is alive in the hero phase. On a 3+, you get a command point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he has to be on the board. Command ability, Parting Shot. End of the enemy charge phase. Camo or skink unit can shoot. On a 4+, the unit can move or retreat. Yeah?
Okay, so once they've charged you, roll a 4 up, you leg it.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well,
you
you
can
shoot.
shoot. You shoot,
then
and
you're
then on a
off.
4+, you can leg it. So they can charge you.
You shoot them.
You shoot them.
You do your 140 shots.
Then on a 4-up, they're all dead anyway. On a 4-up, you can move somewhere.
There's one left. There's one left that's going to at least hit you, but you've gone.
You're fucking gone. And then you've got the artifact artifact, which is Serpent God Dagger. Put 1 melee weapon at the end of the combat. If it deals a wound and not negated on a 5+, it's instant slain. A little shanker. That's good.
What? Instant slay?
Instant slain.
Hang on.
Say that again.
Yeah, read it again.
So the artifact that you get for the Fangs of Sotek
Yeah.
is you pick 1 melee weapon and the bearer weapon becomes the Serpent God Dagger.
Okay.
Yeah,
Who's
at the
the
end of the
serpent
combat
god?
phase, if the Serpent God Dagger has dealt any wounds
Yeah.
and it not being negated on a 5+,
It's just
Dead.
slain.
just slain.
So
On
you stick
anything.
that on your pterodon, on a your
On the
chief on a
The
pterodon.
Ripidactyl fella.
Wang him into Archeon, slit his throat.
Let's hope for the best.
Job done.
That's nuts. Why would you play anything else? I just want that one now.
That's great fun. You just go around slitting people's throats.
Yeah.
Like,
And is it on model or hero?
Huh?
Was it model or hero?
No, that's the artifact. That's an artifact.
Yeah, but
so give it to your hero, yeah.
Yeah, hero, yeah.
Give it to a
so
Ripidactyl
no, it
hero.
only works on a hero.
Oh, no, it doesn't say that. No.
No,
So I could do it on
on-
anything.
Yeah.
So 20 Blight Kings are in front of me.
No,
Kill the middle
It
one.
would just be a 1 model kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
one
yeah,
model.
yeah. But I just take one out the middle and kill him.
Oh,
Just
no,
a
because
cohesion.
where they assign the wound, that's going to be the issue. But you could try and convince them to sign it in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then ability.
Nuts.
So their ability that they get for being that
It's like
sub-faction.
Marathi.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out.
Get
Ignore
out
these
of
wounds.
Here I am, 80 points in all.
Banana Timmy says he might sort me out with some salamanders. I'd like you to know that 18 or I riot.
I don't know who Banana Timmy is,
They
but
sell them in
great.
threes, and I want 18 or I riot. And then the ability is in the first battle. So this is the ability for
I
being.
bet he
dead.
sends you Games Workshop once. I brought these, they're shit.
It's the
There you
worst
go.
joke ever. The ability first battle round +3 move to skinks. So that's skinks, not skink keyword skinks.
Okay.
This is the other sub.
This is the sub-faction. Yeah. So the one before was you could set stuff off the board. This sub-faction is +3 move on skinks.
So I want the knife.
Yeah, with the knife, obviously, as well. And then that's also the command ability where you can retreat. And
Okay.
so you could so skinks move 8, so they can move 11. You could cast cogs if you wanted to, just to be a dick about it. But whatever. You can wang them all up the board. Then you can stick a character behind them for the command ability. And then if anyone charges, I mean, you could always shoot in and all pew 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 pew. Yeah, do you charge in, whatever you want. I mean,
Whoever's left alive, try and charge you.
you can charge
die.
in, you can shoot, and then you can fucking run away.
And then your
Or-
fucking pterodon dude comes up
You set all that up,
somebody
and
throats.
before they charge you, you put the Razordons in front, so you just shoot everything every time, all the time, every day.
Can I just point out that I prefer Stephen AOS's version of this? The skink. Do you remember we saw the skink that just had the feathers with 4 wounds? Yeah. Paint like green stuff a hood on him. Yeah. Just have him going around shanking heroes of the mortal realms. That's your build.
Just feathers.
Yeah. You just be like, Archeon died. Who to? This guy.
Marathi died in one turn from full wounds to dead.
Yeah. Lord of Death. I think you find this is a little skink priest right here.
I like the idea.
Because you just use the...
Don't forget he's got rend on his.
Yeah. And you give extra rend with the
Yeah.
spell and all of that, and extra attacks.
Yeah.
It'd be
Just-
great. You in fact, I think you should just feather him. You should just be like a ghillie suit of feathers, just an eye slit, nothing else.
He's like, you can't get me.
Covered in feathers.
Proper
Shag.
scary. The
Hero.
stand and shoot thing, is it only skink as in skink, not keyword, it's skink unit as in, it said skink or
Yeah.
skink chameleon unit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't double down on the Razordons.
They're shooting because I'm standing shooting. And then they've got their own ability. And then I'm going to retreat and charge.
So Circle in the chat saying, honestly though, I love that they made a Ripper and Pterodon cards, like units, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Wish there was a skink hero on foot again as well, but there is the skink priest who we just talked about. Even though he looks like he's flying with loads of feathers, they haven't given him the fly keyword.
No, he's also the cheapest points of every hero in the world.
And he can kill Archeon.
Yep.
And if there's no one who listening to this and doesn't think, yes, that's how I'm playing Warhammer, then you're not playing right.
Even if he's dead, it's on the 5 up afterwards. That's it.
Yeah.
Game over.
Even the fuck.
It's that is literally
It's
the
a
worst.
cool-
I like the idea that skink goes in, shanks Archaon, gets 1 wound, dies to King of Slayer of Kings, and then he just melts from the snake god poison. Thought you were the hero of chaos, did ya? Not today, mate. Shagged. Just in like Doggore's tail because he can't get any higher. Got him.
I really hope that we've started like one man's weird personal quest for the rest of his life.
And he just makes an entire spreadsheet.
No, I want it to be like Karamov. Like I want him to be
Scroll. Handwritten
No,
scroll.
you know how he's got his hunter's chart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want that where he's just got all of the characters of the Mortal Realms. He's going to shank them. Anyway, so
The only one that doesn't work on is Gotrek. Yes.
there you go. Yes. The Tehuan Shank.
What fun. It's great fun.
amazing.
That's a really good fun. That's a fun one, and it's competitive.
Yeah,
as well. It's great.
and hilarious.
Yeah, I actually think of the two, I actually think
Super fun.
that the Fangs of Sotek is better than Dracothian's Tail, because it integrates more with the Skinks element, and this is why I wanted to read the War Scrolls than this, because the Skinks obviously sound fantastic, and I still think they are, but then now. A lot of that -1 from damage, a lot of that, the stuff in Kotal's Claw, obviously integrates really well with Saurus.
Yeah.
But then the Thunder Lizards is just Skinks are just going to be, because it's going to be your Pastillodons or your Skinks who are
Yeah.
going to smash. Then you've got your Skinks front line, you've got your Skink integration.
There's like 6 good lists there in the books now.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
super amazing.
Loads of good.
But it's because the book is dumb good.
And proper,
Yeah.
it's proper.
But I
proper
also-
competitive.
I also think there's that crazy thing because I reckon there's as many War Scrolls in that book as there was in Cities of Sigmar, and like 200 War Scrolls went into that book that got amalgamated into like 20.
And most of them sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this one was like, oh, how many models have we started with? 20. Do they all still sell? Probably. Apart from that Troglodon, it's all right. Put them all in, and we'll keep the Troglodon shit.
Right, okay, so we're going to do spells, battalions, and then we're out of here.
Okay.
Because the Bangra Night downstairs is kicking off.
I was having a nice little jig.
Yeah, same. Right, so you've obviously got Boundland spells. We talked about that. So Slan have spell law, and Star Priest have a spell law. Slan have Celestial Apotheosis, cast on 5, wholly within 18 inches. You target a friendly unit, and you heal 1 wound. If you cast it on 10 plus, D3.
Okay.
Not bad. It's
Yep.
fine. Obviously, you've got a whole bunch of spells that you can
Yeah,
take with
yeah.
Slans. Walk Between Realms, yeah? Cast on 6, wholly within 18 inches of a friendly unit, and that friendly unit can then fly.
That's the important one.
I mean, you could do it with the command ability as well. So, I mean,
Oh.
I
Make
wouldn't...
2 units fly.
You can make
Yeah.
2 units fly.
Or save those command
although-
points
Yeah,
because you haven't got many.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Right, and then you've got Mystical Unforging, which is cast on 7. It's just within 12 inches. You pick an enemy hero, it takes D3 mortal wounds, but on a 5 plus, you destroy their artifact.
That's great.
brilliant. You know, you got your ethereal Maw Crusher. He comes pounding in, he bunches a bunch of stuff, and then you do D3 mortal wounds and take off his ethereal. That's brilliant. I mean, it doesn't matter because those 40 skinks will just batter him anyway.
or Shanky.
Yo, Shanky McGavin.
Yeah, done.
Slit his throat.
Best model.
In the world. And then you've got Celestial Equilibrium, right? This is cast on a 5. You choose another wizard, and they get +1 to casting or unbinding and dispelling.
Okay.
Pretty good, yeah.
So you take, if you wanted to, you could take Skink Priest, cast it on Croak.
Yeah.
Croak's now got +4.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that means his potential to get that D6 that do the D3 AoE mortal wounds is really good. You got Stellar Tempest, wholly within 24 inches, pick an enemy, roll for each model in the unit on a 5+, they take a mortal wound.
Cool.
Not forgetting that you can push that up to 30 inches.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Cast on an 8, though.
Yeah, but
Doesn't
you
matter
got
when you're
loads of
+4.
pluses. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about the fact that you can ally in Sylvaneth yet? Because that might be memes with a cheap witch summoning woods for your camo skins, etc. No, we haven't talked about that.
No, camo skinks are rubbish.
You can ally in Sylvaneth now with Seraphon.
Oh.
Yeah, which I don't know why you would make the Seraphon worse, but you
I
could.
don't want camo skinks. Keep going.
Right. So yeah. I mean, that mortal wound clearance spell is another reason I'd argue that you don't need the Croxagore.
Yeah.
With one spell, you can do more than the Croxagore ever will. Drain Magic. This is huge. Cast on a 9, 24 inches, endless spells. You target those. All non-bound endless spells are dispelled.
Hang on, all within that range,
What's the range?
24 inches.
and you make it 6
30.
more.
You can make
Yeah.
it 30 inches, yeah.
So you can basically clear the board.
Yeah. Of anything other than your spells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a 9.
On a 9.
But you might be +4.
Yeah, so 5. And you can also reroll. If you take the right thing, you can reroll it.
Reroll.
But don't forget, all these things we talked about, you can't obviously do all of them at the same.
No, but it's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super strong.
Oh, that's a good point. You could take it. Thank you. You could take a Tree Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use his ability to summon a wood.
Yeah.
And then you can use the Seraphon innate ability to blow that wood up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, you were worried about the alpha. When do you, that's the problem is that you can't bring the wood and use it to hide your dudes.
Yeah. The alpha is genuinely going to be an issue. But we haven't talked battalions yet. But yeah, the alpha is going to be an issue.
I also think the other problem is that the terrain piece is cool, but the fact that you put it down before you even start playing makes it way worse.
Yeah. All right, so that's. I think that's pretty brilliant. So there's some good spells for the Slann. I especially like Stellar Tempest, which is the mortal wounds to the Horde units, and then shutting down other people's endless spells is really good, especially your fucking Moon, Nathan. Turn that off. And then destroying an artifact is kind of cool as well. Then Star Priest. So Star Priest spells. Celestial Harmony, cast on a 5, wholly within 18 inches. Pick a friendly unit, and it makes them immune to battle shock. If you cast it on a 10, all units within 18 inches are immune to battle shock, which is not bad on those skink horns.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Hand of Glory, cast on 6, wholly within 18 inches, friendly unit. You reroll hit rolls of 1.
Nice.
I mean, it's okay, but you can be spending that.
Well, if you're sending a unit off, and it won't be within range to get the reroll ones, then it's a great bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really
But
good.
I mean, it's probably not necessary. It sounds like you've got.
There's a load of tricks already in the book, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so. So extended Astra Matrix, wholly within 18 inches. Pick a terrain feature, same as the Allegiance. You turn it into a negative. You turn negative terrain features off for you. So terrible spell.
Pointless.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can stop entangling, which is
I
quite
guess
good.
So. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a very shooty army potentially, so you might want to turn off overgrown terrain.
As
So
well.
might be something to pick. You got Fiery Convocation, cast within 18 inches. Pick an enemy unit. Make end of each phase. You roll a dice on a 6+. They take D3 mortal wounds. So great on a monster.
Yep.
But very unlikely to be worth
What's the range?
18 inches. So
That's
again,
quite
could
good,
be
isn't it?
24.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one. This one's great. Bind Endless Spell. Cast on a 7, 18 inches. Pick endless spells. Make normal endless spells have the bound keyword until the next hero phase.
Do you cast that on enemy spells?
Yeah.
That's nuts. I guess like some of them now don't move, do they?
And
So
the
like,
spells.
yeah, so you're not going to affect Vortex. You're not going to affect the Comet.
No,
They'd
but what,
still hit you.
no, but you are doing like if they cast Geminids at you,
Yeah.
as a defensive setup, which is how I've always played.
Yeah.
Then that bind endless spell is just like now I'm going to send it back to you, no matter, or send it in somewhere safe. But in your hero phase, because you're doing it in your hero phase, you're controlling what they're doing in their.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're controlling. You can now do your movement phase free without the priority roll becoming.
Yeah,
an
it's
issue.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, because also
super strong. I mean, it's to the point of you may as well forget taking in the spells.
Yeah, so
I
there's
think
going to be a lot of Seraphon
if
in the
they
meta.
are,
They're going to
yeah.
be if they're going to be popular, if not the most popular army in the game. So that could come up a lot. I
Mm.
agree.
and it's a shame because actually they're really interesting. Like they make that priority roll interesting in a different way.
Yeah, agreed. What is good is because the Skinks War Scroll spells are so good, you
Yeah,
can pick a
that's-
utility spell for them from the lore.
Yeah.
So again, these are all the Skink spells,
Yeah, the Skinks have got great spells on their scrolls. Well, all of them do, really, don't they? So,
but they don't have multiple casting.
Yeah,
That's the
Yeah.
kind of
So-
issue, right?
yeah.
Then Tide of Serpents, cast an 8, 12 inches. You pick an enemy, roll a dice for each model in the unit. On a 5+, take a mortal wound. So, spell lore, I think binding
endless-
an endless spell is great.
just like that endless spell one's crazy though. So I've been having great fun like teleporting a wizard and throwing a pendulum at people.
Which you can still do. Well, no.
Pendulum is probably the safest one because it's
But if you
still
set
going
it
a
up
straight
to
line.
like make
Yeah.
a move, instead they're like, well, it's my turn, so now I'm going to just stop it.
Yeah, Geminids is the scariest one
Yeah.
now. That's genuinely quite scary. I mean, you can still take things like Shackles, because Shackles doesn't move.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
So you've still got Palisade. That's any of those things that stick is pretty decent. But
doesn't. But they one CP and they all fly over it.
Mhm. I mean, Racist Swords is really good.
Mm.
And also, but you cast it as bound anyway. Also, Nathan, imagine playing double Racist Swords at the
Yeah.
minute. But that should get fixed. Right, battalions, and then we're out. So you've got either Ragey Boys, which are coalesced,
Yeah.
or you've got Star Boys, Starborn. Right, they're the same. They're kind of called the same. So you've got the Sunclaw Temple Host.
Yep.
Right, this requires you to have one Saurus Old Blood or a Saurus Sun Blood, 3 units of Saurus Warriors. So
Okay.
you can take your battle line and a character.
Yep.
Brilliant. Improve the rend of Jaws by 1.
Okay.
So that's not bad, but that's only on
Especially
those.
as-
Don't forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially as you get loads of extra jaw attacks if you took it in that.
Yeah.
And you could be
Faction.
hit, and you could get you could be
Yeah.
getting +2 to hit and exploding 6s.
Yeah.
So really decent. 140 points. You put your battle line in it and a character. It's pretty good.
Yeah. You probably reduce your army to maybe 4 at the best, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you got then if you take the Sunclaw Star Host, which is the same setup, but this is in the Starboys section, you improve the rend of Celestine weapons by 1. Now, when we looked at Saurus Warriors earlier, their spears don't have rend, but their clubs do.
Right.
So you could just have Saurus Warriors with rend 2,
Okay.
and that will be all of those 3 blocks of Saurus Warriors with
Yeah.
rend 2. Pretty cool.
And the hero. Is
Yes,
it one
and the
hero?
hero, either
Yeah.
the Old Blood or the Saurus Sunblood. Then you got the Firelance
Is
Temple
it
Host.
temple? Is it keyword?
How do you mean?
Like, so could you take it on a Carnosaur?
Maybe. Hold on.
Old blood on a Carnosaur.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So you've got the Firelance Temple Host. Unfortunately, it's 1 Scar Veteran on a Cold One and 3 Saurus Knights. You add 3 to run and charge. This is if you're taking the Rage Boys.
Yeah.
If you're taking the Coalesced. If you're taking the Starborn, you get unmodified wound rolls of 6 plus cause a mortal wound. So you know how I feel about both of those. Terrible. But you could use the Saurus Knights as battle line. Add 3 to run and charge is fine, but not great. So then you got
wounds is fun.
You got Shadow Strike Temple Host, 150 points, 1 Priest or Star Priest, 2 Skinks or Chameleon Skinks, 1 Ripidactyl or Pterodon. Yeah, pick 1 unit that's visible, add 1 to hit rolls against that unit. So you can now be hitting on 2s with that big unit of Ripidactyls. Also with 40 Skinks, or 2 lots of 40 Skinks could be having another +1 to hit.
Yeah, so you got +2 easily, and that's shooting and combat.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're just going to rinse stuff.
Yeah.
They're dumb. Shadow Strike Temple Host Skinks are going to be dumb as fuck. Yeah, agreed. Because, the 2 lots of 40 Skinks are going to be having +2 to hit, like you said, and then it'll be exploding mortal wounds. So, whee! And that's not including the Ripperdactyls, don't forget.
Is this the new offensive book of 2020?
Seraphon will never be offensive. Everything about this book is great. The only reason I don't like this book is because it doesn't have more buffs.
Okay.
If Croxagore had 12 attacks each, that's it.
All in.
Yeah.
If the whole book was rubbish, but Croxagore had 12 attacks each, would you still be in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but Shadow Strike Star Host, if you're taking the Star Boys but Shadow Strike, you just drop in, so you can just deep strike from 9 inches away, again with those same units. But you definitely would take the +1 to hit on the units instead. So if you're taking Shadow Strike, you're going to go for Coalesced.
Yeah.
And then the Thunderquake Star Host, which is probably the one you're going to take with your Shoot Your Bastiladons. If you go for Coalesced, which is the one where you're going to get the command ability to do more shots, it's 1 Engine of the God or a Stegodon with Chief, which is the one that gets +1 to hit.
And could
+1
have
attack, sorry.
And could have the big bow and arrow.
Yeah. 2 Bastiladons or Stegodons, any combination. So we're obviously going to go for Bastiladons.
Yep. And
then 1 Hunting Pack, we're obviously going to go for Razordons or Salamanders. In the hero phase, you can be Savage or Swift. With Savage, you get +1 attack in melee. Swift, you can run and shoot and charge.
Okay.
So you don't even need to roll that 3+ to do it before. Yeah. If you take them in the Thunderquake Star Host, which is probably if you take them in the Starborn, which is worse, in the hero phase, you heal 1 wound wholly within 18 inches of the slan. You heal D3.
And you also don't get double shots.
No. So you wouldn't take
Yes.
So you take Thunderquake in.
So, some of those are guiding you in where you're going, aren't they?
Yeah, so you're going to take Shadow Strike. I think the ones you're going to see that are amazing is Shadow Strike, which you're going to see in Coalesced.
Yeah.
And you're going to see Thunderquake Temple Host in Coalesce. And those, so that really, because it's 120 points for the Temple Host, but that means you've got to take a Stegodon with Chief. Maybe you wouldn't take it, or Engine of the Gods, but maybe you would.
Oh, Stegodon with Chief is
Stegodon
not bad.
with Chief. Yeah, that crossbow thing shoots, 36 inches. It can run and shoot.
Yeah.
He gives the +1 attack to everybody.
It's going to blast everything off the board.
So you can make a 1-drop, or 2-drop, with Shadow Strike Temple Host and a Thunderquake Temple Host.
Yeah.
You'd have 1 Priest or Star Priest. I mean, you'd have more characters than this, but this might be a version to play. 1 Priest or Star Priest you take. 2 units of Skinks, almost fills your battle line, but doesn't quite. And then 1 Ripperdactyl unit, and then they'll have +1 to hit. And then you'll have 2 Bastiladons, a Stegodon with Chief, which is a general hunting pack. It's a pretty decent array of units that are doing really well. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, seems like a strong book.
I've just had a little update that I'm going to share with the table.
Yeah.
In the rules, there's a rule called, or I'm guessing it's in the core rules, picking your army. Endless spells have pitch battle profiles and a points cost. By paying the spell's point cost, blah, 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 blah. A player cannot take the same endless spell model more than once for their army.
Oh, there we go. So you can't do a bound endless spell and an endless spell because you can't take the same model.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So
Good update. Whoever did that.
James Hobbs.
James Hobbs, a great Seraphon player, one of my favourites.
And has been listening.
Oh, lovely. Circon really wants to talk about those salamanders. Look at this. Full pack of salamanders, 12 times 80 points. So they're getting 5 draw attacks, 3s and 3s, Ren 2 D3 damage, and 6s do D3 mortals in that battalion.
Yep.
Grim. It's not grim, it's fantastic. As long as you get 18 of them from Miss Miniatures. All right, so
next week's Irish Wargamer sponsored by Miss.
So I know that's been massive, and thank you very much for both of you for being here for it. So, what are your thoughts, and what is everyone's thoughts? Are you going to play Seraphon, or are there only those? What do you think?
They're great. They're super competitive.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get my dick kicked in by them.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to play it. James Hobbs plays it. Hang out with him all the time.
So he can play it?
Yeah, he can play it. I'm not going to pick it up.
Are you excited? Because earlier you said he was going to take a lot of skinks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now?
Yeah, it's cool. I think the thing is, so my one big gripe in Warhammer, I guess, that I probably go on about too much. But the only big gripe I have is if I'm playing someone whose entire army is set up to finish my game before I've played 20 minutes.
Right, yes.
Then I think
Alpha armies.
Yeah, is boring. Because if you go to an event and you play 20 minutes of a game, and I don't mean like the GT Heat final, because then it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're trying to do. But if I'm at an event and I'm like 20 minutes and I'm done, I'm like, cool, I've got 2.5 hours to kill. Not so much fun. But if I'm going to get my head kicked in by some hilarious skinks with some spears. Great.
I think that's the best bit because it's not
Yeah.
Saurus. Something about Saurus, you're like, all right, fair enough. You're meant to be pretty fighty, but just having
Some guy
skinks kick
blowpiping,
the-
yeah.
So no, not just some. Yeah, 120 mortal wounded.
What I would
fucking
like to
skin.
know is, right, so if they
It's
fire
like-
140 shots from their blowpipes,
It's
but
like
there's-
Cunning Ruck gone crazy.
how
isn't it?
many of them is there? 40.
What 40 skinks?
And they're doing 100 and...
Well, they could do 120 shots.
Okay, so they're going to do 120 shots because that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I mean, how fast are they firing? That's like madness.
To be fair, they're only hitting on threes in the right setup.
It's just sixes.
Doing mortal wound on sixes to wound.
Yeah, it's the sixes that matter.
Yeah. Dave Fraser says they won't have finished moving their second unit at 40 by 20 minutes, so
No.
we're all good.
Exactly. Sorted.
Yeah.
having a
Saurus
good
Knight
time.
says I think there are lots of different lists, a lot of choices of which way to go, which I think is 100% true. The thing is the Saurus are great.
Yeah.
You just are
There's-
like
If they were their own army, people would be like, "Yeah, this is good."
There's a
army.
load of good stuff in that book, and that's good. Like, I think more books need...
I really like
multiple builds.
how separate the Slann are as well. Like narrative, like because if you haven't followed the narrative of Seraphon before, like the Slann are very separate from the rest of the
Yep.
society. I like how the Skinks integrate with the Skinks super well, and they control the beast. That's their job, and then the Saurus do that. But the Slann, they do help everyone, but they just completely. It's kind of like you don't even need to play Slann.
I mean, they're sat on a throne, floating.
Yeah, I know, but
They definitely think they're better than everyone else.
There's no way you're not just starting off with Croak. You just be like, I'm gonna have a 4-wound Slann unit. Like, let's go. Like, not 4-wound, 4-cast Slann. Let's go.
Or 6.
Not forgetting everything we talked about before about their ability to just take out characters at range, doing like D3 mortal wounds.
If you had several, like, as well, that I'm just getting rid of your endless spells.
It's pretty good.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all these endless spells in your way. Gone.
JW with too many hobbies. His name. I've been waiting since 7th edition fantasy for a strong Lizardman book. 10 years later, I finally have a strong book. I'm so happy. Good.
If he's got too many hobbies, you haven't got time to
Been
paint the
waiting
army.
since when?
Seventh
7th
edition.
edition. They were great in 8th edition.
They were, because I used to play them with Nathan. We had a great time.
Maybe he was on holiday. He'd got too many hobbies. It took him 10 years to catch back up.
I want to play against a Seraphon player with 3 Engines of the Gods and a Bastiladon fishing for 6 times 18s for that 1 second round of shooting with the Bastiladon.
Who is that?
That's my Gillis.
If you ever play that person, I want it filmed, documented, and we'll make it into a movie. Netflix special.
What gives the Skinks extra attacks? The extra attacks only come out of the combat phase, not the shooting phase. So they don't get 120
okay.
shots. They only get 8 shots, and they get +1 to hit.
It doesn't
Plus
matter.
1 attack from the Skink Chief. So we were getting a bit carried away.
It
there,
doesn't
sorry.
matter, though.
No. Only 120 attacks in combat.
Oh, shame.
Only 80 shots in shooting.
Oh, terrible.
I made a mistake. They didn't have the demon keyword in the last book. Hopefully, we see different competitive lists instead of the one build. I think there's definitely. I think
There's
4
loads of
I
current
think the 4
Seraphon builds.
Bastiladons is just straight up like you
A
want.
solid build.
Oh, they mean just they don't want it. I think there's about. I mean, just at the end, then there's like 4 builds that are easy to pick out of that book,
Yeah.
and then I think there'll be all the builds that aren't so
yeah,
easy. to
just
pick out of
whatever
that book.
people want to take. They'll
think
be able
you-
to build an
yeah.
army with it.
You can literally probably take one of all the models you like.
Probably also can do. You probably could also have like a Saurus block that's pretty decent, a skin element of your army, and a little bit of everything. Like it's good. Like the Troglon sucks. Like he doesn't suck, but he's like he doesn't have a job, right? Especially when you read everything else out, you're like you don't have a job. I personally think the Carnosaurs are fine, and they're cheap enough that they're going to go down super quick. Like 240 points for the 250 points for the old one.
Yeah.
And like if he gets into combat, it'll do great. But why wouldn't I just spend that on a
Slann.
Bastiladon or Razordons or a Slann? Like I don't really get it. But a guy on foot with 40 Saurus, I could see that working.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's loads in there, isn't there? You could literally have like a Salamander pack, a Razordon pack, some Bastiladons.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool.
It's really good. Is there any final thoughts?
Super good book.
No, I think it's great. If there's a model in the book, you should be able to put it into an army.
Except
build
to
an
Trogdor
army
Dom.
around. Yeah.
But I mean, same as it ever was.
Yeah.
Top of the show, we did talk about some of the things that they had issues with. Hammer unit. I think they've got a hammer unit now.
Yeah.
They've got many hammer units.
Yeah, I think
Just
all
about
buff
any
though.
unit, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, they rely on a load of buffs, but
It's all synergies.
Yeah, if you can take the synergies out,
Because I think actually, like I know, like we laugh
kill the
about.
characters, get him on.
I know we're laughing about like the sticks having rend,
Yeah.
but actually, like, I mean, we've got the salamanders up, but actually, it's the only thing with like up to -2. There's only a couple of things.
Yeah.
So there's loads of synergies, and it's super strong. It's
And
just
it's
a nice.
fucking dinosaurs.
It's a really nice book.
Who do you want ruling the mortal realms? Some fucking bony boys? Yeah.
No.
Some weird Zinchi demons or a bunch of dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
Nathan?
Grots.
Get out.
Until the Gargants come.
Yeah.
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 At least, and not them elves. All right, well, listen, you've been amazing. Thank you, because it's an incredibly long show. So, James, thanks for being on the show.
Pleasure.
Nathan, thank you also for being on
Thank
the
you.
show.
Yeah. Good.
Before we run,
Yeah.
just because I'm going to say it now,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing a hard sell, I've sold more than I need to post.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to buy those rings, buy them before Friday, because I'm cutting it off, and I can't promise there'll be another
So,
ring.
what James is talking about is the Age of Sigmar objective markers.
Not his ring.
No.
Not his ring, no. Which are just dumb good. I played with Nathan the other day. Like you can't even see how good they are until you. Well, you can see how good they are, but like until you start playing with them and you realise how much they're going to impact your game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They speed up the game. They make you better at the game as well. So
Yeah. Really good.
good.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah.
no difference to me if you buy them. But
Or if you make them yourself out of
yeah.
cereal boxes.
Yeah, or buy them off someone else. Just get some.
But if you want the ones that we spent a bloody long time working out,
R&D.
so they basically are see through. You have till Friday. We don't know when the next wave's happening or if it's happening.
And also, like TJ and Mikey says, you will also get to say that you've played with the lads from the Honest Wargamers rings.
yeah.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
What more do you want? Yeah. Kedro, that's how much is James's ring? You get a pack of 8 rings.
Yeah, so you get a pack of 8 for 26 quid. Loads of people I know, as this has gone on, have been like, oh, it's quite expensive. It took us like 6 months to get it to that price. The ones that we used on stream, which kicked all this off, cost like 50 quid. I think it's really important that people know that. And the whole reason is that you get 8. If you look after them, they'll last you for good. And that does every battle plan that you can ever play.
Yeah, no, they're honestly, like, they're brilliant. All right, well, no, yes, do that. They're great. Also, if you've enjoyed the show and you like what you... And thank you to everyone who has watched, by the way. So if you are on watching live on Twitch, thanks for being here. Like Dark Matter, Marl Kukas said, can we link them? I think if we type !merch, this is why I'm...
Oh, you can also see the T-shirts.
There are also some T-shirts, yeah. There. They arrived to me in Vancouver, says Vangelis. Very happy with them. There you go.
Amazing. If anyone in the chat's got them, wherever you are in the world, especially if you're international, because that was a long post office trip,
Yeah.
because I posted 56 parcels, tweet us. Tweet me, Pal106. Tweet the show. I want to see them.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved. Yeah, and if you have enjoyed the show and you want to just say thanks or say hi, obviously you can join the Honest Wargamer Patreon. Support us that way. We appreciate that. You can join us live on... you can subscribe on Twitch. If you've been listening to the podcast... Make sure you stay hydrated. You can also get some T-shirts to make sure to remind you to stay hydrated. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen, then just tell your mates. Join us next week. I've got an interview with Trog tomorrow. We've got Darren's List Diaries, where me and Darren are going to be making our Seraphon lists, which are going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, really fun. So join us for those as well. Join us again for the 40k show we've got coming up. We've got loads of international live streaming coming up. We've got AOS Six Nations. We've got LGT. We've got Ume. So Sweden, we're going to be covering an event there. We've got Bobo. Summer Bobo, Nathan. All right. Coming up. So it's very good. You guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us. I think should we try and do one of them raid things? Because Circon did that to us.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go do a raid.
terrible at doing it.
Let's
I don't
go.
know.
We're going to do a raid.
We're going to do a raid, so I'm going to turn off the recording now. So thanks for listening. You guys are great.